All right, let's get things started. Really have no idea what we're going to be in for today, but I'm also very, very excited. This is kind of um, it's the same tournament that we get in NAU, except for the fact that it's Japan teams. And something that I'm really excited for, and that I hope pays off, is that it puts because I mean we here in NAU, and for good reason, kind of look at Japan, China, overseas teams as this unreachable pinnacle. But those teams are leagues, they do esports as a paid sport. This is IVT. It's the same tournament that we get. It's four teams that qualify, normally. Um so I don't know. I feel like it'll be interesting to see, how kind of normal Japan players are. But anyway, I am going to hit play on the video. The first team's up. I'm gonna do either 2 or 3 rounds, depending on how I feel at the end of the second game. We'll see if we get through 3. I want to do 3 and then maybe 3 tomorrow, so that we're caught up for the weekend. Anyway, but with time and energy in mind, I am just going to get this started. First teams that we're going to be looking at are KT and KZ. I am going to be going through just at the start here so that we can get a little bit more familiar with the teams, who they might play, because again, I'm going in knowing nothing about these teams. So for KT, we've got KT Ideshi, KT Batoru, KT Taiga, and KT Maimi. And yeah, I they haven't. Okay, no, I think Ideshi is the hunter, and then the rest of those are the survivors. I don't know if they're gonna list alts here. Okay, KZ, we're gonna have KZ Owl as the hunter, KZ GGC, yeah, KZ Lotus, KZ Winter, and KZ Koala for these survivors. Yeah, that is GGC. I couldn't read it because of the font. But yeah. Yeah, Owl's gonna be the hunter. I would assume that they have like sub teammates that aren't listed here, but these are gonna be the lineups for the first match. We've got okay, it looks like we're working with 2 Geisha mains, or at the very least 2 hunters that have chosen Geisha to represent them. I'm pretty sure that they pick their own, because like we've seen teams do like full mercenary or something, like jokes. But it looks like they're pretty evenly matched. These numbers are looking the same. Average deduction points are pretty much on par. Win rate, I don't know which one is the win rate here, so that's my bad, but I would say it's probably the first number, about 50%. I would say maybe that's win rate, and then like 4-man elimination rate, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, I mean, not bad at all here. With the 50% win rate, 55% win rate, 41%, I would say that's probably 4-man elimination rate. If it's not, then that's on me. But anyway, we're going to move on to the survivors now. First, our hunters are both obviously Geisha mains. We've got an antiquarian and a antiquarian main here, and another mercenary main on KZ. They never like match these up very well. I think they just goes down the list. But stats I'm not too concerned with here. I'm mostly concerned with mains, because stats, they don't really mean anything. Most of these teams will have similar stats, just because, it is ranked, so you're going to have, average rank win rates. With that, 42%, 35%, those are pretty average. I think I would say for here, it's probably win rate and then escape rate. So yeah, those numbers are going to be pretty similar there. Or the escape rate's going to be higher, for a 4-man or for a 3-man elimination, 1-man escape. But yeah, pretty average stats here, but good to know that Winter is likely the team's rescuer. And well, I would say Batoru is probably going to be a harasser, considering the name. But yeah, antiquarian here. I'm gonna just speed a little bit up through this. Oh, we've got an aeroplanist here on KZ with Lotus, as well as a prospector. I am definitely gonna get these teams mixed up with KZ versus KT, but it's fine. But it does look like KZ is shaping up with pretty tanky survivors here, with that mercenary and that aeroplanist and another mercenary. Okay, so they're not being entirely transparent about who they are choosing to represent themselves, or they have 2 mercenary mains, which is very possible. But we are going to see the cheerleader here as well. I'm excited to see more of her in tournament, because I feel like, I feel like she hasn't really sunk in as a dedicated tournament strategy, but I think that there's a lot of potential here with the support. And okay, yeah, so KZ is big mercenary fans over here with a female dancer to round out KT's lineup. So it does look like KT might be revealing their mains possibly with these selections, but either way, it's not entirely indicative of who they play, as we can see from KZ's survivors. But we are going to get to the map ban picks here. We've got Leo's Memory being banned by KZ and Red Church chosen by KT. Red Church, not a bad round 1 map, but it does kind of leave the Opera Singer very much open and very much a threat. So I would say that was it? It was KT. Okay, yeah, it was KT that picked that map. I had to double check. They are functionally the same acronym, but yeah, I would say that they did choose Red Church in order to set up for their hunter, give their hunter a little bit of advantage going in if they're going to play the Opera Singer. We are also dealing with 2 Geisha mains, but I would say maybe not a Geisha on Red Church. It wouldn't be the worst. It wouldn't be the worst option, but it definitely, Opera Singer is better in this situation. But our first 2 survivor bans from Owl here are going to be, excuse me, Antiquarian and the Seer, which does definitely indicate a little bit of Opera Singer action, or maybe a Geisha. I would say those are definitely on the table, as well as maybe a Dream Witch, which I would be a little bit surprised to see here, especially since it is round 1, but Dream Witch is definitely an option going in here. But we will be seeing the Psychologist and the Coordinator locked in first. So not wanting to a little bit tankier, but a little bit multi-purpose here if we're looking at possibly a Dream Witch, if we're looking at possibly a Geisha. Psychologist is very good against both of those. She's a little bit weak against Opera Singer just because she doesn't have any kiting capability, but she is very tanky, so she does still take those 3 hits to get down. Coordinator as well is always just good to have on a team. I'm a little bit surprised she was picked first. I feel like they could have maybe saved her and been recyclable because, again, modern tournament rules, first 2 survivors picked in best of 3 are locked for the rest of the rounds. So yeah, we will be banning the Aeroplanist as well as the Acrobat. In turn, we're going to lock in the Forward and the Patient. Forward, a little bit surprising here. I would say that's probably something that KT survivors main rather than being, a hard meta pick. Patient here is definitely a little bit a little bit, in response to that Aeroplanist ban, to that Acrobat ban, we're seeing, okay, the Hunter is afraid of having a survivor that can reliably break distance. We'll lock in the Patient. Just to have that little bit of security here. They're staying away from the Mercenary, and they're not banning the Mercenary, because I would say we are probably expecting an Opera Singer. At the very least, Owl is playing with the expectation of the Opera Singer. Teams do not want to lock in a Mercenary against an Opera Singer. He's functionally useless against her. A very easy first chase. And yeah, just not an issue to deal with, so Opera Singers aren't going to be wasting a ban on him. And in turn, survivors aren't going to waste their pick at the Mercenary. So we are just going to wait on the Persona webs here. I would probably anticipate, maybe Psychologist, but I would say more, okay. I didn't really expect the Dream Witch, but I guess so. The thing with this here is that so if your picks here are basically Dream Witch or Opera Singer, and the lineup includes a Psychologist, I guess Forward, I would say maybe Hunter's a little bit afraid of that Forward, and the Coordinator wants to bring a more stun resistant Hunter than the Opera Singer. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of kiting potential on this team that can really take advantage of a Dream Witch. I mean, Dream Witch obviously is very good on Red Church, but just with the Psychologist being so tanky, Patient as well can just kind of hook away from the followers. forward is a forward. There is, like, his harassment is a little bit lessened because of the Dream Witch. Can use the leeches to kind of block the stun, but as well as coordinator, but their kiting potential is still intact. So it's a little bit, yeah, first picks, it's a little, it is very nostalgic. It's like, oh, haven't seen that one in quite a while, but yeah, I feel like it's a dangerous first pick here, especially since Red Church is kind of a map. Dream Witch is very good on it, but survivors are also very good on it. And these survivors in particular, they can just tight kite kind of infinitely. So Owl's definitely gonna have their work cut out for them. Going into round 1 here, you do want to make a statement. And I mean, who knows? Maybe we're about to see like Sprinter level Dream Witch coming out, but with this comp, I feel like it's a little bit dangerous. But we will be getting right into it. This is round 1 with KZ hunting versus KT surviving. And yeah, looks like we're gonna be going for that. Is that the patient? My god. Yes, okay, that is the patient. I didn't recognize the skin at first, and I thought it was Acrobat. But Acrobat was banned. So yeah, we will be chasing the patient first here. We've already got the leech down, which is good. Patient not able to pick up a leech mark just yet. It does look like the leech is kind of lagging behind. Okay, no, there it goes. Coming up. Not going to be able to break that pallet, though. We are going to... Okay, no, that was the main spawn follower. We're going to use the leech to get that first hit, which is a little bit risky, especially with the spawn follower so far behind here. It is going to take a minute to catch back up. Leech is on cooldown. We do have Patroller, which the main body can bring out, but isn't going to bring it out just yet. Still waiting for that spawn follower to catch up. I feel like maybe deploying Patroller here might be a good idea, just to make sure the patient doesn't move too far. There we go. We are going to deploy that Patroller. And are we going to be able to get the hit? And beautiful job on that hook from the patient. Very, very nicely done. And flywheeling the Patroller as well. Oh, but missing the gun. KT coming in for support. But is going to get that body block off. Are we going to be able to kite out the remainder of this Patroller? Yes, we are. Very, very good job on the support there from literally KT. But... yeah, looks like we are going to switch targets to the coordinator, possibly. Without that gun, she is kind of a sitting duck here. We are going to use the followers Patroller. So this should be a fairly quick down. But, oh, we are going to flywheel through the Patroller there. And it looks like that was a vault, but no, a slow vault. And that is going to be our first down. But already we have 4 ciphers remaining. Basically 3 ciphers remaining at this point. Just a little bit slow. I guess because coordinator cipher was interrupted, that did kind of put a little bit of a damper on the decoding progress. Yeah, just a little bit unfortunate there, but honestly, I mean, it's not bad. We do have 2 out of the 3 remaining ciphers now started, and one of them passed 50%, so definitely healthy cipher progress. And yeah, we are going to get the psychologist does have Tide Turner, and is going to get that rescue off very nicely. Kind of trying to bait out the blink, it looks like, but we haven't switched to blink yet, so that wasn't really going to be a bait. Coordinator is just going to continue to take this kite into the church. It doesn't look like anyone's decoding there, so yeah, safe place to kite. Yeah, we've started our last cipher there. All 3 ciphers, it looks like, are being worked on. Yes, okay, we are working on all 3 ciphers, and coordinator is just kiting. Skill's still on cooldown, but we are going to be able to get a nice hit through the pallet there. Yeah, we do still have Patroller. Trump card is in play, so I would expect something like a blink switch probably soon. But we could definitely just save that for teleport or abnormal. But with this Cypher Rush, I don't know if we're going to have the chance to use Abnormal here. We've about to be at 1 Cypher remaining. That final Cypher is being a little bit slow, but Coordinator going to struggle free. Oh, that is not good. That is a very, very crucial misstep there. Owl just taking a little bit too long to get the Coordinator in the chair. The leeches are getting a little bit tripped up as well. I don't think Owl was expecting that in the slightest. And yeah, just gonna play around that palette. We can switch to Blink here, but not going to. Just a little bit of mind games, and that is going to be Coordinator down. But she does still have a chair, and Forward is in the area here to harass Cypher. Final Cypher is at 50%, passing 50%. It's actually moving very, very quickly here. Forward still in the area. Are we going to go for that stun is the real question. The leeches are kind of moving to try and intercept it. But that leech did get caught on something, taking a very long time to get this chair again, but we are going to be able to chair that Coordinator, and it's right over the Prime Cypher as well. Coordinator does still have the chair to sit on. Okay, we're just going to go straight for that rescue, right for the Psychologist, and that Cypher is going to pop. We've got a 4-man endgame here, which is just bad news for this stream, which four-man endgame, and it looks like we only have maybe one. Yeah, we have the one leech on that Coordinator, but with only 2 followers on the field right now, which is not great. That gate is passing 80% now. It looks like that is going to be reception gate. With a switch to Blink here, we're going to be able to down the Psychologist. With all the Tide Turners used, I would definitely expect this to be a 3-man escape and not them pushing for the 4-man. But 100% they can push for the 4-man here. It's just a little bit risky. But it looks like the survivors are going to scatter and look around for an opportunity to get this 4-man escape. Just try to get as many points on the board as possible. I would say since the gate is open, I feel like they can go for it, although she is guarding the gate, which does complicate things. They kind of do have to wait the extra minute to try and get out, but it does look like Coordinator was able to sneak by, is just going to play around in the gate here. And yeah, they don't have any Tide Turners remaining. The only Tide Turners were on Psychologist and Forward. And it does look like Coordinator is going to escape here. Patient actually on the other side of the map, opening the gate. But Forward not going to be able to get there in time. That gate is open. So that is going to be a 3-man escape here for KT. What a performance. That hook. The hook to get out of the way of the Patroller was just incredible. And just what a performance there. And that is the danger of playing the Dream Witch. She is a hunter that you can just kind of run circles around like that if she's not just at the top of her game. And yeah, I do think that Owl just got a little bit tripped up there. Just wasn't, not being able to get a fast down. I think if the Patroller had been deployed earlier on the Patient, before he was really able to transition into Graveyard, when he was still like between those areas, if the Patroller had been deployed right after taking the leech hit, would have been a much shorter containment. Coordinator wouldn't have gotten in the way. The fact that that match was still successful for the survivors, despite the Coordinator's missed gun, really kind of just says it all, I think. Because yeah, missing the gun like that, but still being able to continue not only the match, but the containment still lasted for another like 30, 45 seconds. So just incredible coordination there from those survivors. And just a little bit of an unfortunate start there for KZ. You really do want to get as many points on the board as possible in the first round. But yeah, we are going to see here, with that, 102-second containment on the Coordinator. That is the containment area. But yeah, just a little bit, it is what it is. There is still time to make it back in round 2, or even in the second half of this round. So it's not, it's not over, but it was definitely a little bit of a disappointing start and a disappointing round to continue with for KZ survivors. But with that, I am going to go on to that's a little bit ahead. We're going to go on to the second game here, so that is going to be 3 points. I should consider putting a score interface on my stream. I'm going to think about that. Next time I do a tournament stream, probably if I do one next week, then I might think about that, but writing a note to myself to do that. That's going to be 3 points to KZ and 1 point to KT. That would be a good idea though, right? Like having my own score because I usually just write it down, but like having it on the stream, that would be anyway. I'll figure out how to do that. So that you guys can also keep track of the score, and it's not just like me But okay, yeah, I'll figure out how to do that. Graphic design is not my passion, but we can make it work. But it does look like we're shaping up for a Sangria this match. Those are very, very classic Sangria bans, and I'm a little bit surprised that KZ Survivors didn't take advantage of the lack of that first officer ban. Especially after the mercenary ban. I feel like the Merc ban is a little bit surprising. But I feel like first officer probably should have been the primary rescue ban here if we're looking at Opera Singer. But with that first officer ban, with the Gardener and the Coordinator bans as well, just really trying to look out for those Opera Singer counters. Right now, the lineup that we got, not bad against an Opera Singer, though. We do have Antiquarian, who, if she's fast enough, she can definitely disrupt the Opera Singer, but with the Opera Singer speed, it's a little bit difficult. We've got Aeroplanist, really deceptively good on Red Church. The kind of the same as Patient, but with a little bit more freedom. There's a lot of areas where he can just leave. And there's plenty of walls just to kind of cover behind. Stuff that Patient can't as easily traverse. So having both the Patient and the Aeroplanist here can be good, but also, yes, we are going to be seeing the Opera Singer. Opera Singer does kind of counter those survivors just because she can catch up so quickly. So Aeroplanist and Patient are both going to need to be very careful with where and how they use their items. Because they can be very effective here, but it's going to take a lot of precision. It's going to take a lot of timing. Acrobat as well. I feel like Antiquarian might be in the most danger here, just because she does need to have very, very fast reflexes in order to counter the Opera Singer. But we'll see. I mean, it has and can and will be done. It does look like she might be that first target, though. With maybe the Aeroplanist, but I would say it's more likely that we're going to be seeing the Antiquarian take the first chase, just because she is a little bit more dangerous as a harasser than she is as a primary chase. Although no, she doesn't have a decoding debuff, does she? I don't think she does. Yeah, none of this team has decoding debuffs, which is going to be very good for them. As long as, Opera Singer does kind of make her home on Red Church. So as long as they're able, I feel like the main thing for their Cypher Rush here is going to be how they rotate. And this is, it's not a great spawn rotation, because we're going to have the Graveyard Cypher locked here, with where the Opera Singer spawned. This Cypher is going to be locked. I don't know. Can you guys even see my mouse? If you can see my mouse, the Cypher in the Graveyard is going to be locked off, and I'm circling it, but, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. That's going to be locked off, so automatically they're going to have to rotate closer to where Antiquarian's kiting, or where Aeroplanist is kiting. And because it's such a small map, a lot of Opera Singers, or most of the reason that Opera Singer is good on small maps, is that, she can chair next to a Cypher, pressure that Cypher, and then just teleport back to the chair. So I'm excited to see if that ends up working here for our Opera Singer, but we're going to get right into it. This is KT hunting versus KZ surviving. KZ survivors need at least a 3-man escape in order to tie, 4-man elimination in order to win the round. But we are going to go after airplanes first, and a beautiful job on that jetpack, immediately using the hover there just to push Opera Singer back, and nicely done, just right out of the reception area and transitioning into Graveyard, which is a much stronger kiting area. Very, very nicely done. That is exactly how you play Aeroplanist on this map, and especially against an Opera Singer. You just want to break distance as fast as possible. We are going to take a hit in that pallet. Are going to be able to get my god, not the Terror Shock, the pallet stun. But I feel like maybe we could have waited a little bit on that. Either way, we're going to use our second jetpack here just to keep up a little bit of distance. But look at how fast this Opera Singer is. Just immediately catching up. It's like, this is the kind of Opera Singer where you go, okay, what was the nerf? Because she is still just so fast, so precise. And it's not easy. It's not easy to play Opera Singer like this. But a little bit of playing around here with the Antiquarian, using that pushback here. I do think Aeroplanist might struggle free here, and yeah, that is going to be a struggle free with a disarm. I do think the disarm is actually going to be out, but Aeroplanist has struggled free. Beautiful coordination here from KZ Survivors. And already those first 3 ciphers are almost done here. Aeroplanist is going to go down once again, but again, like, this is basically guaranteeing at least a 2 cipher kite. If not, basically 2.5 cipher, 3 cipher kite here. Just so well done. We've got our first 4 ciphers started here already. And Yeah, does look like Acrobat might be coming in for this chair. Yeah, unfortunately, Aeroplanus was the only member of the team with Tide. Oh, wait, no, I lied. Acrobat does have Tide. He's carrying Tide Turner and Broken Windows. No borrowed time there, which is pretty typical against an opera singer and not the end of the world. We're going to try and get this rescue right before half, but it's not going to work. Acrobat just going for it, hoping that he doesn't get terror shocked. Unfortunately, Opera Singer does have a very fast hitbox, and you can absolutely get that terror shock off. Just a little bit unfortunate of a misstep there. That, not even just a little bit, that was huge and hugely detrimental to the momentum that's been built up by KZ here. We're going to be able to get that rescue, but no Tide Turner in play. Getting that blink off as well. Aeroplanus just going down right away here. We're going to just go ahead and chair Acrobat before he's able to self-heal. Aeroplanus is dead on chair. This will also just make sure that Acrobat, already has a chair on him by the time he's rescued. So it'll be, up to second chair instead of first chair. Post chairing. Either way, Aeroplanus is going to be eliminated here. They can bring this back around. Last three ciphers do have progress on them, but with two survivors injured, and it does look like we've been able to catch up to Antiquarian here. Antiquarian hasn't been chaired yet, so it's a little bit better to find Antiquarian than it is to find Acrobat, but already she is going to go down. And that's exactly what I was saying there with the speed of the opera singer. She was just able to sidestep the disarm completely. So yeah, just nicely done there. Beautiful prediction from Ideshi. And yeah, we're going to be at one cipher remaining, though that cipher is at 19%, which isn't the worst situation to be in. If they are just able to hold out here and get that cipher decoded, then they'll definitely be able to, at the very least, have a 3-man endgame. But it's going to be close. I think the best case scenario here, okay, already... we're gonna be able to spot out the patient here a little bit. We're definitely in the area. We do have Tenais, but we know he's here, but I don't think Ideshi's actually seen him yet. Never mind. We're gonna catch sight of that blood trail right now, and it looks like we've actually had to start a new cipher. So that cipher is passing 24% with that accelerated decoding. Lotus is going to take a hit a little bit far away from the chair. I don't think he's gonna be able to make it without taking a hit with just the speed of this opera singer. Yeah, already she is catching up here. That cipher is not primed, and yeah, patient is going to go down. We're going to just teleport right away, right onto the Acrobat, and a terror shock is going to make this a 4-man elimination. Yup, they're just going to surrender. Nicely done with that surrender timing. But yeah, just what that was. Oh my god. The way that Aeroplanist kited was incredible. And then the forcing that struggle free and not even the stun, just such a beautiful early game that, yeah, and that is just the speed of the opera singer, the domination of the opera singer. Yeah, that's just crazy. But yeah, that is going to be a 4-man elimination for KT's Hunter, which is going to put us at a 5-1 score coming out of round 1, which, it is still round 1. We still have at the very least round 2 to go through, as well as a potential round 3. But starting off with this especially since here's the thing here. And here's the thing that's just a little bit unfortunate for KZ. Their Hunter played Dream Witch already and lost, which means that KT survivors are gonna ban Dream Witch. Are not going to ban Dream Witch. They're going to ban Opera Singer and not worry about the Dream Witch because they've already, kind of cemented. They've learned how this Dream Witch plays. They've learned how to counter her. And I mean, anything can happen. That strategy can definitely backfire. But not using the Opera Singer first, and this is why you want to use the Opera Singer first a lot of the time, because it's either you play her or she gets banned. Obviously, KT's Opera Singer, KT Ideshi's Opera Singer is going to get banned after this round. They have to ban her. But that leaves the Geisha that we were talking about earlier. It leaves open the entire rest of the Hunter roster for Ideshi to play, which is a lot more kind of freeing than, oh, I've already played my backup Hunter and lost, and now they're going to ban Opera Singer. there's my backup hunter. We got to go to third string before it's really necessary. Which can be both a good and a bad thing. But kind of giving up the threat after that, so to speak, is just it's not, game ending, but it's just a little bit, it's a little bit sad. But yeah, that Aeroplanist kite was so good. 66.1 seconds for a first kite there. And just nicely done to the Aeroplanist. It's just if the Acrobat had just waited and gotten that rescue after half, it would have been better than taking the Terror Shock, because immediately that doubled down, forcing Antiquarian to come in after half, no tide, just completely farming the Aeroplanist off chair. Like, it just that was where it fell apart. But yeah, we are looking at, my bad, it was 8-1. I said 5-1 because I didn't add the numbers together. But yeah, that is 8-1 score for our round one, which is a pretty decisive victory in round one for KT. But I am going to get us up to the map ban pick for round two. Looks like, okay, I skipped the band pick there, but it's okay. We're just going to head right into the selections. Looks like we're going to be on Chinatown, which is a good map for Dreamwitch. And if I'm not mistaken, actually, no, I am going to look at the band pick for the map, because I want to see who picked what. I think it's after. Okay, KZ did pick Chinatown, which makes sense, because they're looking for a map that's still good for Dreamwitch. Even if, Dreamwitch could get banned, but it's also good for Opera Singer. But KT could definitely just kind of give them the benefit of the doubt and ban that Dreamwitch. I wouldn't expect it, though. But we are going to see Owl's first two Survivor bans locked in here. We're going to ban the Antiquarian and the Priestess. Already banned here are the Psychologist and the Coordinator, which is a little bit better for a hypothetical Dreamwitch. And still, pretty safe for the Opera Singer. It's also, Geisha is not going to complain about those bans. Okay, they are going to ban the Dreamwitch. It's a little bit interesting. They could have probably afforded not to, but I would say they're, a bit of a respect ban there. And also knowing that their Hunter is going to obviously have Opera Singer banned, I feel like they are taking, they're gonna ban the Dreamwitch here. I would say it's either gonna be an Opera Singer or a Geisha. Because for all I know, Owl doesn't even play Opera Singer. That's definitely a possibility. But since both Hunters showed up as Geisha at the start of the stream, we went through and we looked at the team profiles for everybody who's kind of come in after the intro. We did look at both teams. It didn't really say anything. I think KZ was the team that had like almost full mercenaries for their representation. But anyway, yeah, it looks like we are kind of going with that anti-Geisha comp here a little bit more than an anti-Opera Singer. So I think that KT is expecting that Geisha because you would just not pick these. Okay, we're gonna go Nightwatch, which is also kind of countered by these picks. Acrobat can, yeah, okay. These picks do counter Nightwatch, so I'm a little bit worried about that. Nightwatch is good on Chinatown. I've revised my stance on Nightwatch a little bit. It's not automatically a dear God why. It's a little bit more like, okay, interesting. Let's review why this happened. I think that the Nightwatch pick is because he's good on Chinatown, because there are just a lot of open areas for him to still be able to use that win. The problem here is that we're working with a stunner. We have Dancer, who basically has built-in flywheel. We've got Acrobat, who has built-in flywheel again. Both of those survivors can just kind of get out of the wind. And Mercenary, who isn't the worst thing in the world for a Nightwatch, but still isn't great. Nightwatch is still single hit. He's not as strong of a kiter, especially after for first presence unlock, but it's not a great situation. I mean, it's not the worst. Mercenary's there. Prospector's a problem, Acrobat's a problem, Dancer's a problem, especially for a Night Watch. So I guess we will just have to see. It does look like we might end up going for that Mercenary as our first chase, which is not great for a no presence Night Watch, but not the end of the world, especially if Owl does bring Insolence. We could definitely get away with like an Insolence detention build. I would be a little bit worried about a no detention Insolence trump card build. Trump card detention, obviously, tried and tested, beautiful. But yeah, okay, yeah, they're just not showing us the Persona builds in before the match, so we'll have to find that one out. But yeah, we are working on a it's basically a blank slate. But if this round is a win for KT, it will be the end for KZ. If this round is a tie or a loss for KT, then we will head to round 3. But we're going to see KZ hunting first against KT Survivors. KT is in the lead by 7 points. But yeah, it looks like we're going to head kind of towards the center here, looking for that Mercenary, but no, actually switching and going towards the Prospector. This is a pretty strong area to kite in, especially against the Prospectors, so there's definitely a lot of kiting potential. Owl doesn't really want to be stuck here, especially with no presence. It does look like we're working with trump card detention, so no Insolence in play. And Prospector almost with 2 magnets here. We're going to use the first one, but a little bit of a mistake there, accidentally pulling Prospector closer instead of pushing him away. That's a very crucial mistake there from the Prospector, especially like before Blink or anything. But we are going to use Flywheel here just to get through that pallet before Night Watch catches up. But yeah, that was just not a great way to start this match. We are going to have our second magnet in play here. There's the pull forward that we were kind of looking for before. A successful one at least. But Blink is up and we are going to have Prospector down. Not a bad first chase, though, all things considered. We're still looking at over 50% through our first 3 ciphers. It was an early first hit, but it wasn't an early down. Prospector was able to rebound kite just a little bit there, and it was just enough. But we are going to be going into the basement, which is not great. We do have Mercenary, and Prospector is almost to another magnet. Both of those can definitely be used to get out of the basement, but it's not, yeah, especially against the Night Watch, it's really not something you want to be in. It's not the worst Hunter to basement rescue against, but a hit taken in on the way to the basement. Yeah, that makes things significantly worse here. We are going to get just a basic hit in on the Prospector. At the very least, he was rescued for half. Mercenary heading further into the basement just to avoid taking that second hit there. But it does look like we are going to be able to use that Prospector to unlock our max presence. 4 ciphers are remaining. All of them have been started here. Yeah, all of them have been started here and then some. We've got 5 ciphers. Yeah, 5 ciphers on the go. 1 cipher has already been completed. So definitely not terrible cipher progress here. It is just a little bit spread out and a little bit stalling. We do have, yeah, it's definitely a situation where they can make up for lost time by rotating back to the previous ciphers. So it's not as bad as it looks, being at 4 ciphers remaining with a survivor on second chair. But it does look like Dancer is going to be coming in for this rescue. Not going to be Tide Turner, obviously. All 3 of the other survivors do have Flywheel, which is a little bit interesting. I wonder if they were expecting maybe a breaking wheel, but playing a little bit with the threat of a Terra Shock. With this box here, okay, we are going to break it. I was wondering if he was going to break it. It definitely didn't have to, I don't think. Especially with the wind, but it is what it is. We're going to be able to get that hit in on the Prospector, and that magnet's not going to be able to go through. Prospector is going to be sent back to the manor very shortly. We're at 2 ciphers remaining here. Basically, we can call this 1 cipher remaining because that cipher is nearly completed. And the final cipher is going to be at 52%. We've got Owl with full stacks of that wind. And just going to head to the center here. It looks like the survivors are kind of scattering right now, not wanting to be found right away. And are we going to take this kite back onto the Acrobat? It looks like that is the case. So, yeah, Acrobat taking this chase into the hotel area. I do think this is the hotel. I actually can't remember. No, this is the restaurant. Um, yeah, anyway. That cipher is nearly completed, but it looks like it's actually stalled. A little bit of rotation going on here. Acrobat is going to get caught in that wind, though, but the flywheel a little bit mistimed, going to get caught with that heavy hit. Nice job by Owl, staying away from that flywheel. Just going to use the heavy hit to bait it out. And we're going to switch targets over to the Mercenary. Again, Mercenary is not the worst chase here, especially since we do have that dash. We're going to see that coming into play right here just to catch up. Breaking that pallet. Not too big of a time waster. We do have Blink up again, but with Trump card, it's definitely not in Owl's best interest to use it just yet. Especially since we're looking at that Prime Cipher. It hasn't quite been completed yet. It looks like it's sitting at 72% with another Cipher coming along at just passing 50. So that'll definitely be Prime sooner or later. But the basement making its return here. Mercenary being taken all the way to basement. We do still have an Olapad to work with, so it could be worse. Especially if, you know, we are looking at a situation where the Cypher's going to be primed. But Acrobat going to get forced off the Cypher he was priming. Beautiful job with that firebomb, though, getting it right onto the Night Watch. Not really anything that he can do about that. That rescue is going to go off. A pallet stun. They're going to be able to pop the Cypher, but no, Acrobat actually leaving the Cypher. Again, okay, yeah, it's not primed yet. If that had been primed, that would have been a very different situation. But Acrobat forced to transition away here. Nice job on that vault. A little bit risky, and another risky vault, but Night Watch's hitbox not quite big enough to get that Terror Shock off. We haven't quite gotten back to another cipher. Yes, okay, it does look like we have returned to one of the ciphers that's being primed. Dancer coming in for this rescue as Mercenary finishes priming the cipher. You know, it is what it is having the Mercenary on the prime. But it could be worse. It looks like we're gonna be taking Acrobat pretty far here. Obviously basement not in the area, but Acrobat is going to struggle free. Are they going to opt to pop the cipher now? No, we're gonna wait just a little bit longer. Trying to get somebody at the gate first. It looks like Mercenary heading for the gate. We've got Dancer at full health here at the cipher, so she is perfectly safe. Nothing Owl can do here to prevent the cipher pop. We're just going to pull her back a little bit. But it really is just, you know, a matter of time before somebody takes a hit, before, you know, Dancer just pops it. We could play with Flywheel a little bit, with popping the Cypher, but yeah, just gonna be the waiting game for a second here. Survivors have had the time to get set up at both gates, though, so this is definitely a guaranteed at least one man escape for KT Survivors, which they could very well be looking for. If we are looking at a very confident Hunter coming into this round, obviously, they did 4-man elimination in the previous round, but yeah, they can definitely play it. I get not really safe that way. But yeah, Owl changing targets here, trying to bait out the Cypher pop by targeting another survivor and forcing them off the gate. Unfortunately, it is the Mercenary, which is not really ideal here. It teleports also up. So we could just teleport to the other gate once we down Mercenary. But yeah, having Mercenary be the final survivor here is not... I mean, I guess it's no different from chasing the Dancer. But, we're going to be able to get that hit in. But yeah, Mercenary not going to be able to take a detention hit now, which could possibly be what Owl was looking for. But this is just looking like a draw situation here, which, you know, very well could be what KZ needs. Getting a draw is not a bad result, but we're going to teleport away here, going for the Acrobat instead. Acrobat definitely has quite a bit to work with. But yeah, just playing around here, not wanting to walk into that firebomb. Nightwatch, obviously very dependent on those skills. We're going to catch the firebomb, though. Being forced to break that pallet is not great here. Acrobat does have flywheel up, as well as at least one bomb left to use. But a little bit of a misstep on that bomb. Didn't quite vault over the center, if that's what he was looking for. He may have just been looking to break the distance, but is just going to take that hit on the offset of a vault. So little bit unfortunate there for the batter. If Mercenary is able to self-heal in time, Mercenary has been able to self-heal. That gate is open, so this can definitely still be a draw. Nightwatch can catch up to the gate, though, so Mercenary might just want to go for the rescue or just try to look for dungeon here. But Dancer obviously does have the gate open. Owl doubling back, doesn't want the Mercenary to come for the rescue. If Mercenary comes for the rescue, then there's really nothing that anybody can do. But Owl looking away for a second. It looks like Mercenary might be able to sneak around and go for that exit gate. Owl has seen him, but we do have one elbow pad remaining. Mercenary is going to be out the gate here, unless, will we be able to get him out the gate? Oh, but getting stuck on the corner of that obstacle inside the exit gate. That, wow. Wow. Hold on, I'm gonna replay that. They ran to the corner so that when Owl used the Tempest, it wouldn't pull them back. That was just that. Wow. That was well done. Just to secure that tie there. But yeah, and I mean that is kind of the thing. With Nightwatch is that, you get Cypher Rushed. You have all these survivors that can just escape out of the wind through Silver Kite. And a draw is not bad, but it's also not great, especially when you're looking at the best that your survivors can do here is just try to get a draw, maybe a win, optimistically a draw, and head to round 3. But yeah, it's a tough position to be in because it's not a decisive result. And I mean, if the survivors do get a draw, then, round 3. But it doesn't put them at any sort of advantage going into round 3 or going into the second half of round 2. So yeah, but I am going to fast forward into the next ish. If it'll load, or if we can just, get there. There we go. All right, heading into the second half of round 2 here with KZ versus KT. Ideshi needs a 3-man elimination here in order to win. Draw in order to tie and take it to round 3, but 3-man elimination here in order to win it in 2 rounds. So I think it's doable. Because if, I'm obviously operating completely off assumptions here based on the fact that there was a geisha present, in the, intro. So if Ideshi has a geisha, I feel like, especially with how crazy they were playing, Opera Singer, the geisha is probably going to be at about that same level, which means, GG's. But it is definitely more possible to counter, oh. Are they expecting a Dream Witch? I'm a little bit surprised that Seer didn't get locked in here. They're either expecting a Dream Witch or a Hermit, with that Barmaid lock. We are gonna ban Seer here, which does kind of indicate more to a Dream Witch, but I'm still putting my money on Geisha. They did obviously ban the Opera Singer. I mean, you'd have to be insane not to ban the Opera Singer in this situation. But yeah, I'm putting my money on Geisha. They're picking, I mean, Prospector does kind of counter Geisha as well, but they're definitely picking to counter a Dream Witch here. I feel like because they're picking to counter Dream Witch, they're going to play not Dream Witch. Because locking in Barmaid, there's less that Barmaid can do against a Geisha. Barmaid can definitely still play against a Geisha. But I also wonder if we could be looking at a Wax Artist. Maybe. The Wildling ban is interesting to me. Because allowing the first officer out means that we're not worried about the first officer, which means that we could be seeing a Wax Artist. He's definitely good on Chinatown. But with the Barmaid here, obviously we can't really play Dream Witch comfortably. I'd be worried about a Dream Witch pick in this situation. But yeah, the Barmaid being first pick, especially over the Seer, when you're working here with you need a draw or else. I'm also a little bit surprised at the lack of Embalmer. Which, I mean, I understand it because if, they do want to have a little bit of insurance for a kite, then Embalmer, is not the best at that. But we have been seeing so much Embalmer. Okay! I guess we're taking the bait. I mean, it can work. You can play Dream Witch against her counters, it's just kind of miserable. And Barmaid can definitely play against a Dream Witch, as long as you get the first hit without the leech, and let the leech get the second hit. But if you get the first hit with the leech, then it's over, if you try to chase a Barmaid as Dream Witch. But yeah, I'm very surprised at that, at the Dream Witch pick here, because Prospector counters, Aeroplanist counters. First Officer doesn't really counter. First Officer's just kind of there. Which is why, I guess, First Officer, you're less worried about a First Officer than you are like a Gravekeeper. Gravekeeper is just a little bit more annoying for a Dream Witch. But the Barmaid worries me. It does look like Barmaid worries me, Prospector worries me, Aeroplanist worries me. It looks like we might be chasing... We might end up running into the First Officer, honestly. Because we're not going to go for Prospector, obviously. Aeroplanist is going to rotate away. We might end up running into Barmaid. They might rotate for Barmaid to take the kite as well, which would definitely not be bad for them. But yeah, it is just, it's just, I feel like maybe a Geisha, Wax Artist, maybe a Hermit. Barmaid's a little bit, meh for a Hermit, but the rest of them can't do much. Except Prospector. Prospector's annoying. But anyway, we're gonna see how this goes. We're going to have a Dream Witch versus Dream Witch counter match, which I guess, to be fair, every Survivor counters Dream Witch. But yeah, we are going to get right into it. And it looks like Captain Hook is actually going to take our first chase here. So yeah, I guess a sight for sore eyes. I'm one thing I have been happy about with First Officer kind of being consistently meta is that we've been seeing somehow less Goro Akechis, which I'm not complaining about ever, because I don't like that skin. But yeah, we're going to deploy the Patroller, but it's going to be slightly after the Hook, and it doesn't look like the Patroller is able to find where the First Officer is. Are we going to be able to do it? We've got a little bit longer. Yes, we're able to find the First Officer. That was very, very close to being a wasted Patroller, but First Officer is going to take the bite. And it looks like we're going to just have that leech on him as well. And Spawn Follower is going to take the first hit, so the leech is just free to continue following the First Officer. Going to switch to the main body, make sure it keeps up. But a little bit dangerous here for this First Officer taking the first chase. It looks like they have kind of anticipated that. They have brought double Tide Turner with the Aeroplanist also carrying Tide. So they're not in the worst position here with the First Officer taking the first chase. I feel like that may have been a little bit of bait with the Aeroplanist in the center, First Officer taking the chase instead. Although Aeroplanist is definitely very good against Dream Witch, so yeah. I feel like they may have wanted to bait that way. Anyway, First Officer does have a second Patroller on him, so he is going to be delayed here, getting a little bit sandwiched, and he's not going to be able to make it out of that. We're going to just use the leech to get this hit. Main body's going to catch up, but the Spawn Follower is already there. This was a almost 3 Cypher Kite, though. So a lot of time just wasted by chasing that First Officer, and all the other survivors obviously do not have decoding debuffs, so yeah, a lot of Cypher progress that we've been able to kind of recover while First Officer was being chased. And that can definitely make up for the semi-early down, but honestly not really. I mean, it was about 2 seconds. About a minute and a half, minute and 3/4 of containment. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to try and force this rescue to be after half with the Patroller. And it looks like it might be successful. Are we going to bait out another Terror Shock? Because we were able to get the Terror Shock rescue. No, we were not, but it is going to be an instant farm. I don't know if that was before half or not. I wasn't quite able to see it. I guess we will find out. First Officer obviously did take a hit coming out of that, which is just a little bit unfortunate that Aeroplanist wasn't able to get the body block in. but it is what it is. We've got a leech on the aeroplanist as well now, so that will survive after the first whatever happens to the first officer happens. But I guess we will see sooner than later if first officer is dead on chair. Obviously, we've been able to kind of keep an eye on him with that leech, and we're just going to head straight for the chair here. And another leech is actually continuing the chase over on, I believe, Prospector. If I was seeing correctly, no, we're still on aeroplanist. That's my bad. But yeah, that was actually a very, very close, right before half rescue. That is huge for KZ survivors right now. Just having, this is basically, Cypher's not quite primed yet, but, oh, okay. Yeah, so aeroplanist not going in basement though, but is going to be chaired right outside basement. That is just such a crucial misstep. Does anyone remember? Does anyone remember who was playing the acrobat that got terror shocked against Ideshi in the other match? I might go back and check that, because if it was Lotus again, that would just be very funny. But yeah, that's just unfortunate there. A little bit of just a break in the momentum here from KZ survivors once again. Although no, I would say whoever played Aeroplanist probably played him twice, right? So yeah, that was Aeroplanist's fault. Oh, but we're going to miss our blink here. But Barmaid actually tried to blink predict it. Unfortunately, that blink just didn't go through the wall, and Ideshi was able to get that hit. That was just a little bit of a mind game inside a mind game there, taking advantage of the mistake, that, or the over prediction from Barmaid. It would have been a beautiful blink predict if it actually worked, unfortunately. With a missed blink there that actually worked in Dreamwitch's favor. We're going to get a hit in on the Prospector here as well, getting a little bit aggressive with these blinks here, but we're going to be able to stuff the Prospector. That Cypher is not going to pop until just a little bit late, but we're still going to be able to get that rescue off. Ideshi is just a little bit thrown off by that pop as well. Yeah, Prospector is going to be chaired here. We do have Barmaid just kind of up in the air right now. But with a leech on Aeroplanist, are we going to be able to get this hit? Okay, we're going to see the win conditions on the screen right now. They do need a 3-man escape here. But this is looking like a 3-man elimination for KT's victory. What are we going to do here? Looks like Lotus is going to go in for the rescue, but unfortunately just not going to be able to make it here. Yeah, didn't really have a choice there, considering it is 3-man escape win condition. And that is going to be GG's for KT here. Yeah, it takes a lot of confidence, was that an emote? Oh my god. I think that was actually the idol, but I'm not sure. Yeah, but that is going to be KT's victory. Very decisive victory as well. With I don't even know how many. I lost track of the points there, but with 2 4-man eliminations, I think it was around, I want to say 15 points to 3. Don't know if I'm right on that tally. But either way, it was a very decisive victory and well earned. As well. I guess we are going to see the points here. Yeah, that's 15 to 3. I don't know how I did that math right, but yeah, that is a very decisive victory from KT, which is a little bit sad because I feel like there was a lot of potential there with KZ survivors, with just if they didn't get terror shocked on rescues as much. Anyway, sorry, I was taking a sip of water. But yeah, that is going to be it there for KT versus KC, and let's move on to the next matchup. If I can find the timestamp for it. Alright, it's gonna be YG versus Meta, which I'm wondering if they intentionally rhymed it with Zeta, or if they did that by accident. But we're going to have 2 hunters actually listed here for YG. We've got YG Metal and YG Yui. For our survivors, we've got Alfar, Ori, Pinota, Yat, and Ryun. I'm excited to see teams that have 2 hunters here. I guess so all the subs are going to be listed up on the board. It does look like both these teams, I think both these teams have an extra survivor and an extra hunter. Yes? Yeah. They both have 2 survivors as well as a sub survivor as well as a sub hunter. So for meta, we have 4 and HL Hope for their hunters. We've got GBO, Atonic, Kaluni, MCA, and Sinky for the survivors. But yeah, I'm excited to see teams that have substitutions here. I would probably expect them to have maybe a round 1 opera singer strategy, but I guess we'll see. But I like it when teams have a round 1 hunter versus their main round hunter. It just kind of keeps things interesting. It looks like we're gonna get into the hunter stats here. Looks like 4 is possibly a breaking wheel main, with Yui with having the geisha, but again, you know, these are just what they pick to represent themselves. It's not necessarily indicative of their mains, so everything's still just kind of a wild guess. It does look like we have a little bit of a better win rate here from Yui, but if 4 is a breaking wheel main, that would definitely explain the lower win rate. But I mean, it's still not a bad win rate by any means, especially if we are looking at like high tier Asia server rank. That is much more difficult than an AAU high tier rank. So, or I mean, it's not more difficult, but you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot more, you know, pro players at that level, and playing a hunter who can be very strongly countered like breaking wheel, or playing any hunter, especially just with the state of the game, Cypher Rush, etc. But we're gonna get into the survivors here. It looks like possibly a aeroplanist as well as maybe an explorer. It's, you know, I can't really guess on these because they are, you know, teams will just set all of themselves to thief and call it a day. So we are just going to kind of not really fast forward through this, but a little bit of fast forwarding, because I feel like the stats only go so far and they only say so much, because again, these are all rank stats. They're not tournament stats, because these are they're homegrown teams. It's IVT, it's not IVL, so it's, you know, it's like we do for NAAU. I went over this at the start of the stream, but you know, saying it for the people who have gotten here, it's teams that are not contracted to play. So, you know, it's people who do other things in their free time. So yeah, it's a little bit, it's less of a structured environment, which is why we're seeing stuff like round 1 Dream Witch. Because you wouldn't, well, I mean, I guess you could see that in high in league level, but yeah, anyway. That's a lot of thinking. This is also a lot of talking about these 2 survivors in particular. Maybe? Okay, and yeah, we've got another cheerleader here. We haven't yet seen cheerleader really make an appearance. I'm hoping she does. I feel like she's kind of in that like weird territory of, you know, she is, oh, there's the ban pick. I do want to look at this. Okay, so it looks like Meta is going to ban, I believe that's Arms Factory. It's kind of hard to see from this angle. And YG is going to take Moonlit River Park. So that is a little bit more standard from what we've been seeing, especially from Japan meta. They do like that Moonlit River Park as a little bit of an Opera Singer counter, mostly because of its size, because it's not actually the worst map in the world for Opera Singer. And she's definitely still usable on it. But Moonlit is a pretty common round 1 map pick anyway for league. So yeah, these teams are definitely following a little bit harder meta, I would say, or I would guess. Yeah, okay. That's I hesitate to say this because I'm going to sound insane. Are we looking at a hermit? Because I can't think of any other reason that you would specifically ban Enchantress in round 1. We could also maybe see a breaking wheel, because 4 did have the breaking wheel, but like banning Enchantress and Coordinator and not Priestess, we are going to see that YG is going to lock out that Priestess in round 1, as well as Embalmer, which, yeah, allowing Priestess out and banning Enchantress is a weird choice. I feel like maybe that could say Breaking Wheel, but Breaking Wheel doesn't have to worry about Enchantress, doesn't have to worry about stunners. So if it's Hermit, I'm gonna eat my page that I'm writing the scores on. What? Yeah, Enchantress and Barmaid banned. Those are Hermit's like primary counters. I No. It cannot be. It cannot be. There's no way that they're doing round one Hermit to me. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just some elaborate fake out and they're gonna go with Opera Singer instead, but allowing Priestess here? Allowing Priestess against a Hermit is kind of insane. Like that, I feel like that's not gonna go well if you do pick her. God, what? How, why? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I do. I have to eat my notebook. That's incredible. Why would you do this? I'm sorry for the like live unfiltered reaction here. I didn't want to be right. I saw the Enchantress ban and I'm like, that's like why would you wouldn't ban Enchantress, especially for the first two picks. I would say what probably happened there is that these teams are familiar with each other. Because you wouldn't, like, that's just dead giveaway that you're playing Hermit. Unless, I mean, oh my god, okay. He's not bad. Okay, here's the thing. He's not bad on Moonlit. The problem is that you have a Priestess, and a lot of good Hermit strategy is to just kind of have people downed around the map. You can't do that when there's a Priestess, because she'll just long portal to everybody and heal them. That's a lot of healing, even if you ban Barmaid, even if you, for God knows why you would ban Doctor, but like, even if, you don't have a Doctor, I guess is what I'm saying, Priestess has a healing buff. She could heal. Round one Hermit. Round one. Jupy, I don't even know. I don't know. Someone should go back and clip that. I don't know how you clip things, but somebody should clip that. Because I'll clip it after. At least it's Warden. Hello, Warden. But it's not gonna be Hermit, I said. But yeah, okay, round one Hermit. We're gonna have Meta 4 playing Hermit. YG Survivors, round one. Gonna be a good one. We've already set up a connection here. Definitely a more standard Hermit strategy than what I've been doing, which is incredibly stupid. Check out my stream from yesterday to see some of my batshit Hermit gameplay. But yeah, we are going to, it looks like we're targeting the Mercenary first, which is a little bit risky here. I definitely see what For's strategy is. He was trying, I would say, to kind of charge the Mercenary opposite to the Survivors that already have a charge, and then get at least one hit in before the Survivors were able to swap polarities. Unfortunately, not going to be the case here. We're going to overshoot that stun as well. Mercenary doing a lot of time wasting here. We do obviously have 3 Survivors decoding on a connection, but because it's a Mercenary, I mean, like, there's just so much time that can be wasted here. We did get a nice hit through the window there. Thankfully, not a Terror Shock. But yeah, still going to get that chip damage in, and bringing Teleport here, and just going to teleport directly over to the Embalmer. Or no, that's not Embalmer, that is Lawyer. My bad, I thought that was Gato for a second. No, that's not. Lawyer is going to be able to take the coaster immediately. It looks like we might just have to switch targets again. Now we're heading for Embalmer over in Godkite, but are we going to nice on the teleport, though? And it looks like we are going to be able to stop that. Yes, right before that pallet's done. Nicely done by Hermit. But already so much time has been wasted. That's a lot of decoding. Not that's been done, but that's been distributed across several ciphers on the map. And, the more time that they've been able to kind of work with that is just better and better for these Survivors. It looks like we're going to make a slight adjustment to that connection here, trying to get as many Survivors as possible on the connection. but let's see here. We will, I think that Alfar is going to go down with this next hit unless a third survivor switches, but I don't think that would help either. But yeah, Alfar is a hit-ish away from death. No, the distributed damage is actually going to extend his kite even longer. So that's very good here for the Embalmer and very bad here for the Hermit already. We're looking at about, and a little bit undershot on that charge as well. So Alfar is going to remain without a charge here. We're going to try and get one in there through the wall. Unfortunately, it's just not going to connect. Alfar working on just kind of a will and a way here. Was that the wrong charge color? Or were we just really trying to get Alfar red? Gonna hope that, because that could have been a little bit of a connected stun here, but we might have been anyway. Alfar is going to go down, so that is going to be our first chair of the match here. We do have quite a bit of distributed damage here, so honestly, I feel like it's not the worst situation to be in. We're not going to be able to put Embalmer in basement, though, so a little bit worse here. I do think they are going to go for this rescue here. Yeah. They're going to go for the rescue and an immediate teleport. Just letting Embalmer get rescued, I guess in order to waste or not have to use the coffin. Either way, it's a little bit of an interesting strategy. Priestess, though, but missing the hit there through the wall and missing another stun. The lack of precision here is really not working in Forest's favor. And that is kind of the thing with Hermit. You do need to be very exact with where you place your stuns, because otherwise you are just going to start missing them, sending them to cooldown when they don't need to be. But we are going to be able to get that charge on Pinota. Just waiting, going to miss that stun as well, and missing another stun. Just a little bit undershot on the teleport, going to break that portal, but so much time still being wasted here. We've got almost one cipher remaining. Last two ciphers are at 50%, or passing 50%. But this is not looking good. That target switch there really just didn't have to happen. And I respect the aggression here. And I do think that being this aggressive is good, but there are times where you just have to play a little bit defensive, and I feel like Four missed an opportunity there. But yeah, just keeping up that connection doesn't really matter what it looks like, because the last two ciphers are connected. But we're going to get a charge in on Dear Mr. Inference there, and a stun at the chair, it looks like. Cipher's not quite primed yet, but this rescue is going to be before half. We can start knocking off the Embalmer, though. And I think now is definitely the time to do that. And it does look like we are going to stun Mercenary with the red charge, or with the blue charge there. Yeah, that is going to knock down the Embalmer, so nicely done there to kind of halt that cipher progress. Right now, it really is just a matter of how well Four can disrupt these ciphers. It does look like we might be getting no Lawyer actually removing that charge right before Mercenary gets hit. Very nicely done. And that final cipher is not chugging along just yet. They do need to reset here because they're kind of teetering on the edge of a snowball. Right now. I think now is when Four should teleport. And he can, I think. But no, they were able to get that heal off a little bit. I wonder if Four just didn't see the wanted order. But those survivors were healing right next to the cipher. It was kind of telling, I think, what they were up to. But yeah, we're going to be able to get that rescue pretty much uninterrupted here. Oh, and Priestess able to body block. They can just get away with popping the cipher, but it looks like, a little bit delayed because of the connection. But they were able to get it. Lawyer taking advantage of his natural speed boost here just to get as much distance away from the Hermit as possible. We do have detention, though, which is good here. Unfortunately, because of the shared damage, we are going to still need at least 2 hits here to get the Lawyer down. But it does look like we're going to be able to get those nicely done with the teleport. And Lawyer is going to be down. We can get to the gate. We can teleport to the gate. We're definitely going to have enough time to do that. I think the main worry here would be if the Embalmer is who we teleport to. But both of those gates are almost open. It's looking more like we're going to have a 3-man escape here. Unless something weird happens. Are they both in the gate? Oh, Mercenary is outside the gate. Wait! No way that worked. There is no way that worked. That's just brought us to a draw. I always say, unless something crazy happens, and nothing crazy ever happens, but that was something crazy that just happened. Hitting the stunning Mercenary in the back of the gate and just hitting him directly out of it. He definitely just wasn't as far back in the gate as he thought he was. I think he was kind of banking on being, like, at the very edge, like the edge. But I think he may have also forgotten that Hermit deals extra damage. So that 1.2 damage that Hermit deals normally gets doubled in the event with the tension. So it's 2.4 damage, which either way, it still knocks down the Mercenary. So yeah, that's just a little bit of an unfortunate misjudgment there. It's going to bring us down to a draw. So yeah, that could have been a that could have been a 3-man escape. If Mercenary had really gone out the gate. But also, I don't know if Priestess would have been able to make it. So maybe, I mean, it might have been a draw either way. Priestess might have been able to make it to Dungeon, though. So, oh, I went too far ahead. Okay, I fixed it. We're good. We're gonna get into the second half of round 1. Yeah, I almost forgot it was round 1 there because we were just watching a Hermit. But, you know what? I respect the first round off meta picks, even if it doesn't work. I respect it. Because it can work. And it's it's not a bad strategy. Especially if if your hunter is like very, very specialized in like, you know, opera singer. It's like, you know, Sprinter is obviously a incredibly strong Dream Witch. I'm just using Sprinter because, you know, convenient metaphor. But yeah, it's like, you know, Spritzer could play Dream Witch round 1 and then keep the Opera Singer open for round 2, and that's definitely a strategy that could work. But it also comes with the drawback of, you know, taking the Opera Singer off the table right away. Anyway, we're going with a bit of, this feels like old, or at least early Opera Singer meta, like at the beginning of IVL when she was first used in tournament. There were a lot more magicians, and I feel like locking in the Magician Embalmer here, Magician Embalmer, Lucky Guy, Mercenary was definitely a counter early, but I feel like if we're looking at an Opera Singer here, we might not. We just saw Hermit. But I'm gonna say Opera Singer because I'm probably wrong, but also like banning the Coordinator, banning the Gardener, those are Opera Singer bans. Those are not Hermit bans. They could be Hermit bans, but they're not. They're not Hermit bans. Maybe a Dream Witch. Okay, that's the only other option here. Really? Maybe a Geisha, but I wouldn't really want to go Geisha against Mercenary, Magician, Lucky Guy. It's not great. But yeah, this is looking like an early Opera Singer meta comp, which isn't really meta anymore. It was kind of working at the start, but then people figured out that, like, there's nothing really that Mercenary can do. Lucky Guy's still used a little bit just for the gun. But I feel like Magician's not bad, though. Magician's not bad. And he does have the advantage of not giving, Opera Singer presence, but I feel like with her speed, you know, it's very give or take. But yeah, we are gonna have our round 1 Opera Singer. It's a little bit interesting that we've had two matchups here. One team has played Opera Singer round 1, the other team is not. I guess we'll have to see. Sorry, that was my water. But yeah, pretty standard spawn points here. We're gonna have Embalmer in the 2-story, Magician over at 4th stop. Ooh, interesting, but honestly not a bad spawn here. It looks like we might be heading directly for that Mercenary. Yui just going ahead and targeting. Hard targeting right there. And we can do that. We can do that. when we're working here with the mercenary versus opera singer, opera singer always wins in a mercenary kite, because there is nothing functionally that mercenary can do against her other than maybe pallet spam if he's lucky. uh but even that, opera singer is countered by transitional kiters, sort of. But yeah, the issue with mercenary is that it's just not enough. You do need a little bit more, like, aeroplanist hover can be great against her, especially if you're in an area with a lot of walls. But on a map as open as Moonlit River Park, it's just a little bit more difficult. But yeah, we are going to be heading in here. We need at least a draw, if not a draw, best case scenario. Or draw is the most neutral best case scenario here. It'll put, automatic round 3, but it does put both teams at kind of an even pace. But whichever team wins this, if either team wins this matchup, or wins this game, then we'll be good. Anyway, Lucky Guy does have a Perfume in play here as our first chase. Yui just kind of waiting it out here, is going to be able to get that hit, but Lucky Guy does have the coaster. So very nicely done there. We're going to just have to see if that stop is turned off. I don't think. No, it was turned off, so Yui, forced to change targets here, is going to be switching onto the Mercenary. I would say Mercenary is probably left untouched here just because you're not really worried about his decoding. It's probably better to chase somebody who has better decoding. But anyway, we are just going to continue this chase. Yui doing a fantastic job at controlling the opera singer here as well. Just very confident with these dashes, knowing exactly where to dash, where not to dash, where to exit, keeping that cooldown out of cooldown, literally. Yeah, just very, very smooth, very skillful here. We're going to just keep placing these dashes all around the fourth stop here, trying to make it an uninhabitable location for Lucky Guy. We're going to send the dash into cooldown, but just to get to that first down here. Doesn't matter if we're in an 8-second cooldown when it takes well more than 8 seconds to get into the chair, so, completely fine to just go into cooldown there. It was a 2-cipher kite, though, which is, tantamount to the survivors just not having any cipher debuffs, so to speak, other than the mercenary, obviously. But Embalmer and Magician are both fine. I kind of miss the days of abnormal opera singer, because that would have definitely been a really, really effective opera singer moment with abnormal. But a good rescue right before half there as well. Very nicely done from the mercenary. It is going to be an immediate hit, but with the tide turner, it still wastes plenty of time. A little bit sad to not see multiple tide turners on the team. That has been pretty effective against opera singer, especially if they're going with kind of this very traditional meta opera singer comp. But yeah, we're going to see Lucky Guy on the second chair, but we do have a coffin in play, so Embalmer was able to get the Lucky Guy's appearance at some point. I honestly don't know when, so that was very nicely done there by Meta Survivors. But Opera Singer does have teleport and is just immediately going to teleport almost to the chair, but not quite. It actually looks like she teleported to the wrong cipher here. Those ciphers did kind of line up. Or she may have teleported to that one thinking the coffin was closer. Either way, just a little bit unfortunate. Lucky Guy just kind of hanging out here at the top of the stairs. Almost taking a hit there. That was very, very close. But Lucky Guy still just going to be able to continue this containment. We've got our last 3 ciphers on the go slowly. Just starting our 3rd cipher here. And it does look like Lucky Guy is going to go down, so it is going to be our first elimination here, but we're kind of looking like a draw situation, I'm gonna be honest. Teleport is on cooldown, so Yui is going to take quite a bit of time to get to the other side of the map. We're a little bit cipher locked, but not really. We have 2 ciphers on one side of the map, 2 ciphers on the other side of the map. Right now, we're in a bit of a situation, especially since the ciphers that are being decoded on that side of the map, it is going to push them a little bit more towards being cipher locked, but I don't think they can cipher lock themselves right now. But we're about to be. It looks like, are we going to leave that cipher prime? Possibly? Or was that... I'm trying to figure out where that Prime Cipher is, but Magician doing a great job with containment right now. Does still have 2 decoys left to utilize. Is really just keeping up, nicely placed on that decoy as well. It's just kind of getting in the way, and another decoy, just to continue tripping up the Opera Singer. She is going to be forced to switch targets here, and that 99% cipher is going to pop. So we are at 2 ciphers remaining. 3 ciphers. The last 3 remaining ciphers have been progress has been made on them. That's the word I'm trying to say. And all of them are at about roughly 40. Well, we're passing 40% here. But yeah, it does look like we've had to abandon that 53% cipher in favor of chasing the Mercenary. And yeah, there we are. Mercenary versus Opera Singer. Opera Singer always wins. And we're just going to teleport away. Not really worried about Mercenary healing. All the ciphers on the map are at pretty much the same pace. Nice job on that pallet stun from Embalmer, though. Very, very crucial timing on that as well. And very close on the vault. Vaulting like that against an Opera Singer is always just so dangerous because of the speed of her hitbox, the speed of her herself. And we're going to see here a little bit of playing around that window. Sinky opting to take the basic hit instead of getting Terror Shock, which is always the better option. It does look like I don't think the coffin is on this side of the map unless I just am completely missing it. So I do think Embalmer is fairly safe. But those last 2 ciphers are progressing. That's for sure. We're passing about 60% on, it looks like the one we're going to commit to. 46 seconds still left on teleport, so we're not really going to be able to teleport to the Prime Cipher. And Mercenary being on the Prime Cipher, not the worst option in the world, especially since we are in a situation where Opera Singer can and will very readily teleport to the Prime Cipher, leaving anybody else injured on the Prime Cipher. But Magician is going to take a hit in that decoy, not going to get Terror Shocked. I don't think Magician can get Terror Shocked. But yeah, that is going to be a very unfortunately timed down. Magician just not able to be as stealthy, I think, as he would have hoped. But yeah, that is just unfortunate there. Mercenary not really having a choice here but to go for Dungeon just for a 1-man escape. But that is going to be YG winning the round with, I would say, best case scenario here is going to be, or best case scenario here for meta is going to be a 3-man elimination, I think. But yeah, Mercenary using second to last elbow pad here. He might be trying to go for that rescue. Looks like we are actually going to go for that rescue here. And we are able to get GBO off chair. That was Magician. Yes. Yeah, we've got Magician off chair. But yeah, at this point, it really is just a matter of time. That cipher is prime, but it doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to make it back there. Magician playing around this pallet here, but is just going to take that hit. That's going to be, I would say, unless something crazy happens, which I said that last time and something crazy did happen. So maybe. But yeah, other than that, that is going to be a 4-man elimination here. Very classic. And yeah, this whole match was just a very traditional Opera Singer match. The Moonlit River Park really only counters her due to its size, but when you have an Opera Singer who just has that level of control over her, and yes, very nice wiggles. But yeah, when you have an Opera Singer with just that level of control, there's really nothing you can do as a survivor to really effectively counter that. But yeah, with all of that said and done, I'm gonna take us into the I'm gonna shoot for the map ban pick for round 2, but either way, it does look like I got it. Oh god. My bad, I took a sip of water in it. Went down the wrong way. There we go. Yeah, okay. We're going to get into, I completely missed the map ban picks because of that, but we're going to be on Chinatown. Actually do want to know which team banned and picked it, so okay, so YG banned is that That's Sacred Heart. YG banned Sacred Heart, and Meta picked Chinatown, which I would say, we could definitely. I feel like they're setting up for their hunter here. Oh, they switched hunters actually, so we're no wait. Yes, it was it was YG Yui in the last match. So yeah, we've switched to YG Metal. So new hunter here. So I guess it's kind of up in the air a little bit. I don't recall who was on the preview, but again, that doesn't really indicate anything. And Priestess Seer bans are just very standard. We have banned Dream Witch though, so we're leaving Opera Singer on the table, possibly because Metal doesn't main Opera Singer. That's definitely a possibility, and also just likely, I would say. But yeah, we're going to lock in the not the priestess, my god. The Antiquarian and the Dancer. Priestess is banned. We're also going to ban Aeroplanus, so we could I would say maybe a Geisha is what we're gearing up for here, especially with that Dancer. Night Watch as well could be an option. Possibly Wax Artist. But I feel like in that case, maybe not banning Aeroplanist. And, we're going to be locking in a Thief. So I would say Meta might be expecting a Geisha, might be expecting a Night Watch. I would say probably not expecting a Wax Artist, so Metal could definitely go Wax Artist if that's something in their belt. Maybe a Hermit, haha. No. But, yeah. It's a very, kind of standard survivor or hunter bans, especially for a single hit hunter. So I'm gonna put my money on Geisha or Night Watch. But Thief is definitely scary in that case. Priestess wouldn't be banned if we're looking at a Breaking Wheel, so I would say maybe not Breaking Wheel, but it could be Breaking Wheel. Breaking Wheel is still very good, and a little bit stun resistant too for the Thief. But okay, yeah, we are gonna go with Wax Artist. Wax Artist is definitely a pretty safe a safe pick here. Very good on Chinatown, and also kind of counters. I think the only survivor that he doesn't really counter is Dancer, but then again, still counters through tight kiting. Yeah, I do think Wax Artist is the best choice here. Especially with that Thief, you do want to have a little bit of insurance against stuns, Antiquarian and Thief. Without having to bring excitement. I mean, Metal could definitely still bring excitement here, but I feel like, you don't have to bring excitement. You can get away with bringing Blink, and you do have a little bit of stun resistance kind of built in, as well as just Wax Artist being very good on Chinatown. He's kind of in that, Night Watch boat where it's like, these are hunters who were very, very good for a short period of time post-release and now have kind of fallen to the wayside, but they're still really good on Chinatown and Ever Sleeping, specifically. Although I feel like Wax Artist is okay on, Lakeside sometimes. He can be good, but yeah, I feel like it's kind of a guarantee a little bit more on Chinatown or Ever Sleeping, just because of the map's construction. It's a lot easier to kind of land the wind as well as the wax. But it does look like we might be heading for Thief first. We could also just end up rotating into the Mercenary, which wouldn't be the worst case in the world, but it also just wouldn't be that fun anyway. It's never fun to chase a Mercenary, unless Opera Singer. But yeah, you're not really in the mood to chase a Mercenary. Thief's also just annoying, but Wax Artist can do a little bit better against him just because, you can actually use your skills against the Thief without being directly in the flashlight radius. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes. Again, YG is at the advantage here, having won round 1 with, I think, a 6-point lead. Or if we're looking at 7 to 2, so 5-point lead. Anyway, yeah, get it. They have a 5-point lead. Doesn't really matter though because we are working with rounds. But they won round 1, so they're heading into this a little bit higher spirits here than Meta. probably is, but looks like we are going to actually end up going for that mercenary, at least for now. It may be, yeah, it looks like we are just going to try and get him to waste that elbow pad and then immediately switch targets. Looks like we might be catching sight of the Antiquarian soon. Metal just going to take a little bit of a break there and stop to wax off the Cypher. And it looks like we might be running into Female Dancer here. A little bit unfortunate, though, that Wax Artist hasn't found anybody or been able to find a target until getting to the hotel area. It's not really a place that you want to be stuck kiting survivors. Already we're falling into a trap here with the dancer boxes and the hotel, but it looks like we are just going to turn around once again here, heading towards the Thief after all, but Thief already anticipating that, just running away. This is kind of, you know, the advantage of knowing spawn points is very, very good for survivors here. But with it, I think quenching effect came into play there, or the Cypher was just shaking, actually. Anyway, we're going to teleport onto the Dancer, just kind of waiting for that pirouette here instead of making a bad swing, but a beautiful hit just right through that pallet. Dancer doesn't have a lot of wax built up, but it does look like we've actually had insolence going this whole time. I didn't realize it. And we're just going to head right into the right back into the hotel, which is, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world here, especially since we do have well, quite a bit of wax on the Female Dancer. Unfortunately, it is going to start going down. But yeah, just so much distance that you're able to kind of break being on top of the that stairwell. But Dancer is going to go down here. Antiquarian is still in the area, could definitely harass this, but I feel like with that kind of 80% wax that she did have going there, it just would not have been, it would have been risky. So yeah, Dancer is going to be chaired here. No boxes remaining in play. Basically, 2 ciphers are decoded here. We are lagging a little bit behind on the 3rd cipher, just because, you know, we did kind of run into the Antiquarian. That is Mr. Inference with a cattail. But I respect it a lot, actually. I would probably do that if I had Mr. Inference. But nice rescue there right before half. But Antiquarian is still here to harass. And I feel like that's really not the vibe right now. Yeah, we're going to have all 3 survivors, or at least all 2 survivors coming in to harass. This strategy has worked before, especially with the Thief, because Thief kind of makes it so that you can't do anything, or you can at least do significantly less. Unfortunately, yeah, we are going to see why you play Wax Artist against the Thief. That is exactly why, just able to build up that wax, not really worrying about the skill cancel. But yeah, we're seeing here getting a little bit tripped up with it again. Blocking off that window, though, so Thief will be going down somewhat shortly, but already we've lost track of the Dancer with all of this harassment. So yeah, it is kind of working out, I would say, for meta here with this kind of all or nothing strategy. Are we going to be able to down Antiquarian here? Yes, beautiful hot wax down there. And we're still at 4 ciphers remaining. All survivors are injured as well. I feel like at that point of decoding, because you can definitely, and it's a strategy that I've seen a lot of times, especially on Chinatown, because there's just a lot of areas where you can support kite really effectively. Rallying like that, they just did it too early. And they have a lot of cipher progress right now. I mean, they have basically their last 4 ciphers. All of them are over 50%. And accelerated decoding, it either has activated or it's about to activate. Either way, they're in a good position here. But we're going to teleport once again here. Metal is towing this line of overextension versus map control. And it's a very thin line, admittedly. There's not a lot of difference between overextending and just being, you know, an all-encompassing presence. It's a matter of whether the survivors are actually able to get those last 4 ciphers done, because like we're almost at 60% or more on all of them. 59% is basically 60%, so like we're gonna count it. But yeah, we're about to be at 3 ciphers remaining, and all 3 of those ciphers are over halfway done. So that is a very good position to be in for meta, but it's a problem of, can they get to all of those ciphers without being interrupted when pretty much all of them are at half health? We were able to heal up the mercenary, but that's just the mercenary. We still have, okay, they are healing up right now, but Wax Artists, yeah, they're not going to be able to heal up here. That is not good here for meta survivors. They still have those last 3 ciphers left to decode. Mercenary can decode by all means, But he is slower. And it does look like he's actually not made it back to a cipher yet, so that's, again, not great. Okay, it looks like Thief has actually been able to make it to a cipher, but Antiquarian is going to go down. So, yeah, not great. Not a great position to be in for meta survivors. It was a gamble to rally. I mean, it's always a gamble to rally is the thing. There's no situation where like that can not go horribly wrong. But yeah, it just wasn't as effective as they were trying to make it. But a chair hit. Just going around the mercenary there, kind of the weirdness of Wax Artist hitbox being just a little bit detrimental. So that's just a little bit unfortunate there, but they can bring it back here. Last two ciphers are at 82 and 64%. They can bring it back if they're able to get those ciphers again, but it looks like we've tapped a new cipher. But yeah, we're not going to start a new cipher at this point. That would be insane. But yeah, with 2 survivors remaining here, I would say we might be looking at a 4-man elimination at the very least. A 3-man elimination here. Both survivors are injured. It does look like Thief has no, that's not a syringe, that's the flashlight. My bad. I can't see. But yeah. This is going to be a 4-man elimination. It really, yeah, because Thief is doing something over there. Okay, no, he has actually gotten on the cipher. Yeah. There's really nothing I can say here. Because it is just a matter of time. I mean, there's not much that Thief can do. Mercenary's down. Hasn't used self-heal, but again, matter of time. So yeah, we are just going to fast forward until they surrender, because I don't want to sit through it, personally. It doesn't make for very interesting viewing material, and they've... Oh, wait! Mercenary... Okay, no, we're just... I was gonna say, oh my god, Mercenary struggled free, but it's just a slug tactic, so that we can secure them not getting dungeon. Wow, okay, this goes on for a while. But you know what? It seems a little bit toxic, but it's what you have to do. My god, did this really... Okay, did they surrender? Oh, okay, he was able to find both of them. And get them to have to surrender. But yeah, I mean, you do at a certain point, like, it seems a little bit toxic to spend that long slugging survivors. But also, if they're not surrendering and you need the win, what are you gonna do? Yeah, so that's a 4-man elimination here for YG, which means that if YG survivors only need 1 escape here. And it looks like Meta's actually switched out their hunter as well. We're going to see HL Hope coming in for this round. So yeah, both teams have a substitute hunter. And yeah, they're going to be utilizing it, which is great. I love when teams have sub hunters. Makes it so fun. But it looks like we might be seeing a clown main, actually, which is exciting. It's been a while since we've seen a clown. Usually they get kind of target banned immediately. But with getting the Priestess is already global banned. That's beautiful. Priestess being global banned means that, there's really nothing that they can do to lock in the Priestess. We're going to ban Entomologist and Antiquarian first here because we don't have the Priestess to worry about. We're not as concerned about this here, so we're going to leave that open, but obviously third ban. Locking in Lawyer as well as... Yeah, we're going Lawyer, Coordinator, Mercenary, and Psychologist. So a very tanky team here. I would not be surprised to see a Clown coming out because that Entomologist ban is speaking. And she's saying, Clown. I was going somewhere with that and then I lost it. But yeah, I mean, if it's not Clown, then I don't know. But I mean, I've been right before about Hermit, which I'm regretting being right about, honestly. But he needs to 4K is the thing, and I think Clown definitely has 4K potential. But there's so many innate counters here. I mean, like we do have, two tanky survivors and a gun, and okay, yeah, we are gonna go with the Clown. Yeah, so we need a 4-man elimination here, for meta to even tie this round, because that's the thing, they can't win this round, they can only tie it and then try to get round 3, and even then the points are really not stacked in their favor. But getting the 4-man elimination here, as long as they didn't tie round 3, basically. But yeah, I mean, it's not the worst team comp to go against Clown with, but I feel like with the entomologist band, that is kind of a hello, I'm playing Clown, so these survivors have probably brought Flywheel, which is bad for a Clown. But this is also just a very good map for Clown, kind of the same reason that for the same reasons that it's a good map for Wax Artist. It's a good map for Night Watch. Everything's open. You can yank survivors. You can dash to survivors without a lot of natural interference. So yeah, definitely. It's not a bad situation to be in for a Clown, but needing a 4-man elimination here is tough, because it's always tough to get a 4-man elimination. But it's good to see a Clown again. They also, why did they allow the middle spawn open? Why did they? I understand this spawn, but I would understand more rotating to the spawn. Leaving the middle open is weird. And it's dangerous. And just kind of giving that to meta on a platter, I guess, when you only need one elimination, or you only need one escape here for YG, it does kind of, make you get a little silly, I guess. But yeah, that's risky. That's a big risk. And a little bit surprising here. But yeah. I guess, they probably know what they're doing, but we are going to get right into it. Again, we only need one escape here for YG. Any result that is not a 4-man elimination here for meta is going to mean that YG takes the game. So yeah, no pressure here for HL Hope. We're going to get a very, very long rocket here, just searching for our first target and picking up a lot of pieces on the way. So gathering our resources, getting us set for the latter half of the match. Looks like we're actually going to switch targets here, not wanting to go into the hotel area, just trying to sniff out the survivors. It looks like they actually haven't touched any ciphers yet, if I'm seeing this correctly. They're just hiding. They are completely hiding. But it looks like we have managed to find the psychologists, and yeah, that word has already gotten to the rest of the team, and we're going to start our first cipher. What a weird strategy. Not decoding at all until the first hit. That's, okay. But, I mean, well done for them for rotating well enough to stay hidden that long, even with giving the Clown the central spawn. We're already over a minute into the match and haven't gotten we've gotten our first hit. Now we have gotten our second hit, but because it is a psychologist, she is still going to be up. But our ciphers are lagging desperately behind because of how long they waited to start them. So if they're able to come back from that, then that'll be pretty huge. But nicely done with those pallets. Great discipline there. Psychologist does not have Flywheel. They actually didn't bring any Flywheel. So I was kind of expecting that, but yeah, they did not bring Flywheel. So that's not going to be any Clown counters. That's honestly pretty big here for HL Hope. With no Flywheel to worry about, no entomologist. There's basically nothing to stop the dash. The only thing they can do, we don't have detention though, and that's a little bit risky. I think it can definitely work with Clown, and with how long it took for them to really decode these ciphers. But Mercenary is going to take a hit there, and not going to take that second hit. Nice job dropping that pallet in time. We do need to kind of focus on the Psychologist here, though. It does look like HL Hope is turning around, ready to do that. Has found the blood trail? Yes, we have found the blood trail from the Psychologist, and already going to activate a fast dash here. Just heading right to the corner here with the Psychologist. Coordinator not quite in the area just yet. But it does look like she's heading for the chair. So I would definitely expect Coordinator to rescue here. We don't have Excitement to deal with, but I do think HL Hope, at least someone knows where she's coming from, is facing that direction. So yeah, does have sight of her, so she knows she is going to be coming down that way. The gun's kind of inevitable here. I don't think there's a lot of situations where we're going to be able to make Yacht miss it. And yeah, that is going to be just a free shot there. Going in for that rescue. Very nicely done. Of course, it's not going to have Tide Turner. And oh, what? Huh? Okay. Yeah, missing that hit because Clown is too short to see over the vault point. But yeah, that is going to be a relatively fast down here. But we're not... I think this could be a 4-man elimination, maybe. I don't think we have enough kind of distributed damage to really 4K this one, especially since we do have our last 3 ciphers started already, and with quite a bit of progress on them. We're basically at 2 ciphers remaining here. And finding out the Mercenary, though, we are going to disrupt the decoding a little bit this way. And switching directions here, playing around this pallet, but getting a little bit turned around in the process. It looks like Mercenary actually going in the completely other direction than HL Hope had hoped. So yeah, that's going to switch targets here as well. Heading a little bit out of the way here, but towards the other side of the map. Oh, getting a little bit tripped up there, trying to pick up a few more pieces. It does kind of look like we're getting a bit flustered. Possibly pressure, possibly just a little bit of a misstep. But we have found the lawyer here. Are we going to be able to? Nicely done. I feel like that would have been a terror shock if it hadn't been the lawyer. So nice job on the mind games there, just turning right around and getting that hit in. But it is a lawyer. We are just going to switch targets once again, trying to find where that final cipher is being decoded. It looks like we may have smelled out the Mercenary here, possibly just a little bit. Oh, but not quite seeing him until it's too late. Mercenary able to use the second to last of those elbow pads, but going right into the Clown, just getting tripped up on those mind gaze. HL Hope doing a really good job of just controlling those palleted areas, which is just very difficult to do. But just keeping this pressure up, keeping this map control up as well. And this is why Clown is just so good on Chinatown. It's not a very big map, it's a very open map, so he can just continue to go across the map and across the map and across the map over and over again, just like this. And yeah, it's so much fun to watch. We're going to get our first hit in on the Coordinator here, and yeah, still neither of those ciphers have been able to be decoded. So this is going to be a long match, but I do think that we can maybe get that 4-man elimination here. We've got Mercenary on the ground, healing relatively slowly. It does look like Lawyer has been able to return to a cipher, so that is going to be passing 50% in a moment here. But yeah, that is a little bit risky though. We don't have Detention, I think, is going to be a major player coming into the later half of this match. Not having Detention is just not the best situation to be in when you're looking at an endgame. But if HL Hope is able to find the cipher, that's kind of the biggest thing here. But cipher is already primed, so I think Lawyer may just pop it. Maybe we're just going to take the hit there and back to full health. HL Hope not quite able to get that hit in. Ori already at the other side, so Mercenary is going to be opening the gate in just a moment here. They only need 1 escape, so if they're able to get that, then automatically they win. Otherwise, it will go to round 3. But YG, again, just needs that solo escape here. Mercenary already at the gate. HL Hope doesn't quite have teleport up just yet, But, oh, the dash running out before he can make it to the chair. Lawyer able to get that rescue basically free of charge. And again, HL Hope does not have detention here, so this is going to be a 3-man endgame. Mercenary does have the exit gate open. Coordinator heading towards the dungeon. I don't think she's going to be able to make it in time. Nicely done with that pallet throw, but I don't think Lawyer can make it to the other side of the map before Coordinator gets down. We'll just have to see how fast he can run, how fast that Lawyer's speed boost really is. But yeah, Coordinator just looking for that dungeon here, playing around. Nicely done with those pallet mind games once again. But this is going to be a draw. YG is going to take the victory with 2 draws and 2 4-man eliminations. So that is a very, very clean victory here for YG. And yeah, very nicely done. And yeah, you know what? I have plenty of energy, but I do need to refill my water bottle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the stream here. I'm going to go refill my water bottle. And I will be right back for the third. I'm gonna do I think 3 rounds today, and then possibly 3 rounds kind of midday tomorrow. Or at least some point this week. I think Friday. Possibly, actually don't. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna I want to be on track so I can maybe, hopefully, if I keep having a schedule that lets me stream, keep up with IVT, kind of follow it through the whole thing. I've been wanting to do that with a tournament for a while, and then I just can't commit to it because I'm busy. But yeah, I'm gonna refill my water bottle. We'll be right back, and then we're gonna head into the third match of the day, which is AN versus BO. I think it's not acronyms, but I'll be right back. All right, we are back, and before we get into the next match, I need to share this if I can get the thing to show up on stream. But at some point during the stream, uh my dear friend Juliet sent me this picture of Ryan Gosling, and I checked it because we like I went on break. I checked my messages, and I'm like, what I'm like, what was this about? And then I go, was this about when it was Hermit? And they're like, yeah, it was when you were saying that there wasn't gonna be a Hermit. Oh god. Okay, well, hopefully nothing like that happens again. But anyway, yeah, welcome back. Thanks for staying. We're heading into the third match of today, which is going to be Anne versus Mio. And I don't know if are these supposed to be acronyms? I don't know. But I think because it's lowercase, I'm going to say it as a word rather than as like AN versus MIO. We're just gonna roll with that until I'm proven otherwise. But yeah, heading into this, we will look at the players very briefly. For Anne, we've got Rippa and Yami for the hunters. We've got Moririn, Kiri, Shirayuki, Yora, and Dan for the survivors. I like that. And for Mio, we've got 46N and Serunya. We've got their second hunter. For their hunters, we've got Chikuma, Yumo, Fomare, Yuki-Air, and Yaryu. For the survivors, it looks like we might be looking at a wax artist main, possibly coming out here for Anne. And I'm going to go faster through these now that we've realized that they're functionally useless. Possibly a geisha coming out for Mio, and we can... Okay, we've got a possible batter sighting here. I would definitely be excited to see a batter. I feel like he is just very underrated here. But we see him a little bit, but not enough. We've got coordinator and dancer, some harassers. Anybody else? And the seer. So, if Seer's not banned, I guess we can expect that to show up. But I would expect, in fact, for the Seer to show up. Okay, I'm going to get into the map ban and pick here, if I can get the timestamp right. There we go. Looks like Anne has banned, I think that's Sacred Heart Hospital. It's always very hard to tell when it's in black and white, like that. And we're going to be on Red Church here. So, pretty standard round one map. Once again, it's very good for it's good for Dream Witch. It's good for Opera Singer. So those are definitely good maps to kind of play on, work with. But yeah, we're going to get into the survivor bands. It looks like we are kind of setting up for that Opera Singer here. We've got that Gardener and the Antiquarian band right away. Antiquarian's a little bit interesting, I will say, though, just because we have seen Opera Singer is able to counter her. But we're going to lock in the Dancer as well as the Lawyer. So that's definitely... Dancer's a little bit interesting, I would say, just because Opera Singer does counter tight kiting, but she can definitely be used, and pretty effectively at that. Mercenary is also interesting, but I guess on Red Church, again, they're a little bit more effective on Red Church just because there aren't those open areas for them to get stuck in, so it's a little bit kinder to them. Is that a professor? They're looking for a Dream Witch here. This is definitely a Dream Witch team that's about to go up against an Opera Singer. Oh, no, maybe it will be an Opera Singer. We have had round one Opera Singers today, so I shouldn't be too quick to assume. But with the Gardener band specifically, I feel like they are looking for Opera Singer. Professor can definitely be okay against Opera Singer. The thing is that, he is just very easy to bait out. And, after you've done the double bait, like, what else is there? He's kind of a sitting duck. He is annoying with the slowed down hit, but because Opera Singer's hit is so fast already, it doesn't make that much of a difference. It definitely still makes a difference. I mean, if you're working with a fast hitbox and that fast hitbox suddenly becomes slow, that's, what are you gonna do? But other than that, yeah, I feel like they could have gone with maybe a patient, maybe an aeroplanist. Yeah, that is going to be an opera singer kind of lurking in the back here. And yeah, there we are. That is the opera singer coming out. And yeah, I worry about this comp because this is a very good map for opera singer. And I feel like locking the opera singer to kind of that side of the map is not great either. Hmm. Yeah. Well, okay, so if we go for Professor First Chase, Lawyer First Chase is definitely possible and wouldn't be the worst idea. But I feel like, pre half presence opera singer, it's a little bit more difficult to make that chase just because he is so fast. Uh Professor is a little bit safer, but you are going to have dancer support to deal with. They don't have any actual harassers here. I mean, the only harasser really is Professor. But yeah, it's not the greatest situation to be in for Mio survivors right now because I mean, it's an opera singer on Red Church and they were like this is a Dream Witch counter comp. Mercenary is not very effective against opera singer. Dancer can't really tight kite against an opera singer. Professor, you bait out once, still an opera singer. So and then Lawyer is just fast, which works. Lawyer being fast definitely works. But yeah, I would worry about this. But we are going to get right into it. This is round 1 of Anne versus Mio. I feel weird saying the names. I might switch to saying AN and MIO. Anyway, but yeah, we are going to have no, that is Professor taking our first chase. Sorry, I saw Lawyer in the chat. And a very unfortunate kind of pallet bait there. Yumo getting a little bit too excited for that vault and just taking it straight away here. A nice bit of distance being able to be gained here, though. Not a lot of shadows in that area, and without presence, it's a little bit hard to traverse. But yeah, and here's that dancer support I was talking about. But Ripa actually falling for that hit. That it's a little bit unfortunate there, and a lot of time wasted by this Professor. Opera singer just getting stuck in the boxes there. But we are going to have Blink up in just a second here. Going to be able to catch up to Professor fairly quickly here as well. We are definitely seeing and the pallet stun as well. That really didn't look like she was in it. That was at the very edge, I would say, of her pallet hitbox. But I feel like this opera singer specifically, we're seeing that nerf kind of shown. But getting that hit right through the pallet there, nicely done. It's it's a 1 cipher kite, I would say. We do have 2 ciphers over half, but they're not quite enough over half for it to, they're still halfway done, which isn't bad. But it's not the worst case scenario here for opera singer. But it does look like, yeah, Mercenary is already coming in here. Nice job on the elbow pad. Opera singer just trying to come back. Yeah, we're really seeing that nerf come into play, I think. Opera singer just a little bit more slow and precise on those dashes. But a nice bait on the scales here. We're going to see Professor playing around a little bit, and yeah, just unfortunately getting baited out, hit through the pallet once again, and Professor is going to go down. We're still at 4 ciphers remaining. All 4 of those ciphers do have progress on them. So definitely we're working on being in a good position here. 3 ciphers are being decoded. Professor being taken to a bit of a far chair here. I don't think he's going to be able to struggle free, but okay, yeah, getting safely in the chair, a little bit of a stretch there. I do not know if Opera Singer has Giant Claw, but doesn't matter. Professor's still chaired. We're going to be at 3 ciphers remaining in just a moment. Almost 2 ciphers remaining, and those last 2 ciphers are coming very close to completion. But we do have Mercenary. I don't think... Is he going to be able to make it to the chair? Yes, he is going to barely be able to make it to the chair. And a beautiful scale there from the Professor. Nicely done. We've got 4 ciphers remaining. Those last 2 are about to pop here. But yeah, just nicely done there by the Mercenary, just getting that the last possible second, and Professor coming in with a scale. Just playing around this palette once again here. Professor just being a little bit too careful there, not dropping the palette, is going to go down. But what an extension there. That was very nearly, just immediate stuff. But with that extra bit of time, we were able to pop two out of the remaining ciphers, almost to our final cipher. Opera Singer switching targets here is not a good sign. That cipher is very, very primed, but heading back, and yeah, we are just going to pop it. Opera Singer kind of lost track of the Professor here. I feel like we're looking at a draw situation. Yeah, Teleport's not up here. That gate is nearly open as well. Are we going to be able to make it back in time, though? It's the real question. It looks like we might be making it there just in time, but no, actually going to turn around here, heading towards the other gate, it looks like. So this is going to be at least a draw. It does look like we might find Lawyer at the opposite gate. But I think both survivors are at the gate, right? Yeah, this is a very Opera Singer because she's meta, not Opera Singer because we're, yeah, that's going to be a draw. Nicely done by Mio survivors there. Just really taking advantage of it. And, you can really tell, when the Opera Singer nerf, I feel like it's not a nerf if she's good. But it's a nerf if you're not, like, crazy with her. Because the finesse, it takes longer. Yeah, Ko is definitely going to be full of it. And all comp is right now, really, because, when Opera Singer's not banned, you want to play her. But once they figure out, they don't need to ban her, it can be very, very dangerous. But yeah, just so well played there by Mio. A draw is a very, very good result, especially in, the days of Opera Singer meta. But yeah, going to head to the second match here. Okay, I kind of overshot there. But it does look like we're going to have Magician and Coordinator as our first 2 picks. Yeah, we're going to have Magician and Coordinator as our first 2 picks here, blocking out the Mercenary as well. And who is... Oh, that's Jose. I didn't recognize him because they made his brow really strong, and I'm used to him looking more pathetic than that. But yeah, we're going to have Dancer. Is that another Professor? No, that's Lawyer. I can't see the blue things. I'm realizing. I can't tell who it is. But yeah, we're going to be banning Dancer, Antiquarian, Mercenary, and Acrobat. Yeah, I feel like this is probably it's probably another Opera Singer, but no. That's a bad idea. No, that's legitimately a bad idea. Why would... On Church? You can't see it, but my head is in my hands right now. Okay, Magician doesn't counter anymore since the Area of Effect buff. But First Officer's annoying, Coordinator's annoying, Lawyer's annoying. You're on Red Church, where, inevitably Lawyer's gonna run halfway across the map, Coordinator's gonna shoot you, and then she's halfway across the map. Is this post-buff, though? Actually, we're gonna have to find this one out. If this is post-buff, we might have a chance, just because of the map control that you can get at the end of the game, but that map control is not gonna mean anything if we use all of our energy in early game, to get somebody down. So 46 then is going to have to be very careful about how that energy is conserved. Round one Lizard? Ah! It's okay. It's okay. It'll be okay. I. Why is he ugly? No. If they're gonna play a B tier, play Baron. Anyway, we're gonna get right into it. This is. Oh, I know Japan loves their lizards, but round one. Round one. Okay, we're already getting turned around here. And peepers. Okay. Looks like we're bringing peepers and also trump card. Which I understand, but personally I wouldn't. It looks like we are just going to completely miss. I think who was that? That was Magician. Okay, so we're completely missing Magician here, and getting very stuck and very turned around, which is not a good start here for a Lizard. You really do need to get that presence right away, but nice job on the Survivors for rotating as much as they have, just completely turning this Lizard around. Getting away from all, yeah, Center Cypher's not here anymore. Looks like we're heading back towards the Coordinator has rotated over into this corner. But already, you know, we don't have excitement and the Survivors know it. So this is a very dangerous position for Lizard to be in, especially since, you know, pallet drop, window vault, she's gone. Yeah, we don't really have a position. If we're able to kind of corner the Coordinator here, it could definitely work out well, but I feel like not having kind of the element of surprise, yeah, immediately gun. And Coordinator's just gonna continue to loop this area. Already we're looking at 3 ciphers nearly decoded. I'm sorry for going into this with such a defeatist attitude. I just, I know what this is like. Playing Lizard on Red Church against, incredibly coordinated team is like my nightmare lately. And you can actually see that at the start of my stream from yesterday. I played Lizard on Red Church and it went really badly. But yeah, Coordinator is going to go down. But already we're looking at a 3 cipher kite. Very nicely done by the Survivor team. I don't. I don't know why you would do this to yourself. Yeah, we're at 2 ciphers remaining here. And yeah, First Officer is going to come in for this rescue. We're going to miss the lethal crash because of course we are. He's on pocket watch. See, this is why I could never do commentary. Because the moment there's a lizard, I get so... Okay, it's fine. We're going to get into normal sane commentator mode. We're going to get a beautiful lethal crash there on the Coordinator. So she is going to go down here. We can make this a draw, okay? Here's the thing, and here's why playing Lizard is not the worst option in the world. We can get a draw out of this, especially since we do have trump card. Teleporting to another gate, we have trump card detention. So as long as we're able to eliminate Coordinator before the Cypher's Prime, which we can probably do, excuse me, we can probably eliminate or at least stuff the rescue, or, you know, either stuff the rescue or force the rescue before the Cypher's primed. Maybe it's going to be very close. Turn around. Yeah, okay. Okay, Cypher's still not going to be primed, so we are going to be able to get this elimination unless they're going to force heal it. The Cypher is going to be primed by the time, but we're just going to wait. We're going to wait and get the lethal crash. It's not going to matter, and Coordinator is just going to go straight down anyway, so a valiant effort from the Magician. Unfortunately, it's not going to work. We do have full charge on those peepers. We can definitely make this a tie, and that is all that Mio needs in order to secure the round, at least as a draw. So it's not too bad. Are we? No, we're not post-nerf. Or post-buff. We're pre-buff. That, oh no. I wish we were post-buff because that would probably mean Lizard at least somewhat in Koa. But I do respect playing Lizard even without the buff. Going. Where are we going? And this is where not having the buff is going to hurt a lot. What? Oh. I need to go back. How? What? His face! Sorry, the commentator's face kind of got me there, but what just happened? Okay, so that's up. We have first officer pocket watched away. Are you serious? That was it? Okay, first officer pocket watches away. We turn around, try to bait it out. We've got magician going right here. Magician has 2 decoys left, but we don't see. For some reason, we think first officer went this way. I just don't know why you would go looking in that direction. There's nothing that spawns over there. Oh my god. Sometimes I wish I had a face cam. Like, I don't want to do a face cam, but sometimes I wish I had a face cam because I feel like there was just like a lot of silence here that was filled with me making faces. And holding my head in my hands and whispering to myself, "Dear God, why?" Um I just there's nothing on that side of the map. Dungeon doesn't spawn over there. I don't think the final cipher was there. You know that there are survivors headed to the open gate. You go back to the gate that was being opened. Where else do you think the first officer went? It's like the perfect situation for a draw. You know, even if it was kind of a terrible match up until that point, you've exhausted the survivors' resources enough that they wouldn't be able to kind of like sweat the rescue and go for a 3-man or a 3-man escape. But the fact that it didn't have to be a loss, it didn't have to be a loss. It could have been a tie. If he had just doubled back and gone back for the first officer, that would have been a draw. And that's all he needed, but it wasn't. I just... And I would also like to report, and I'm gonna pull up the message just to, you know, verify my quotation. But Juliet says, "No spoilers, but I am very happy you're doing the 3rd round today." I'm assuming this was why? Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna head into round 2 in a second here once I can get to the right spot. Looks like we're heading into the map ban picks. We've got, I believe that is Arms Factory that was banned, and AN is going to pick Sacred Heart Hospital. Also, my quality just completely died for some reason. Okay, it's back. That was weird, and I don't know why that happened. But yeah, we're heading into round 2 here. AN has the lead because... Okay, at the very least, it's a different hunter. They switched out their hunter. Our lovely lizard is no longer on the field. For better or for worse, but I would say for better, unfortunately. It should have been a draw. Bye, thank you for coming. I suppose I'm having fun, I guess. But yeah, we're going to ban Priestess and Dancer, which is pretty, you know, par of the course for Sacred Heart. You do not want to have that Priestess. You do not want to have the Dancer. We're going to ban Opera Singer, and we're going to lock in the Antiquarian and the Barmaid, which is not the worst choice here. Or not the worst choice here for the Hunter. I would say with this, we're probably looking at for a Dream Witch, which I would be worried about a Dream Witch pick on Sacred Heart anyway. But it looks like we're playing with that forward here. I do wonder who they're anticipating. Because I feel like maybe something like a geisha? I'm hunters that are good on Sacred Heart are kind of few and far between. I feel like they might be trying to play for a hermit here with the barmaid. But who can say? Barmaid's either looking for or trying to deny a hermit or deny a dream witch. Um so I would say hermit is the more likely option that they're trying to get uh the hunter to not play, just because he is like objectively slightly better on Sacred Heart than Dream Witch is, especially at this point in the game. Um and with an antiquarian patient forward, that's not really, a comp that you would want to play Dream Witch against. But okay, we're gonna go with Night Watch. I don't. I mean, it's not a. It's not a great comp. To The thing with Night Watch on this map is that he can be tight kited very effectively. So that worries me. And that worries me when it comes to a Night Watch. But if he's able to keep the survivors in open areas, it's not that bad. I would definitely be interested to see him bringing insolence. Maybe no detention. I would say insolence detention or trump card detention would be good here, but I would like to see detention. Especially since they do need kind of a win here, in order to continue. Yeah, I would say maybe patient as our first chase here. But antiquarian could as well, but I feel like she's just, she's more difficult to chase, especially since Nightwatch doesn't really have kind of any sort of stun security. I think patient's the better choice for a first chase here. Inevitably, you might end up running into barmaid. Barmaid's not bad. I think Antiquarian's probably the worst option for a first chase here, but either way, Nightwatch is. I'm worried about the Nightwatch pick, but I'm not as worried as I would be about a Dream Witch pick. So I feel like if you're between a rock and a hard, I went too far ahead. But I feel like if you're between, a Dream Witch and a Nightwatch, you would want to pick the Nightwatch over the Dream Witch, especially with this comp. But either way, we're gonna get right into it. Once again, Mio is at a round disadvantage here and won the first round. So oh my god, True Proof. True Proof is not going to take the chase yet, though. She is going to be safe and sound at the top of the hospital. And Nightwatch is getting a little bit turned around here once again with a very, very nice rotation here from AN survivors. Just staying out of the way. These hunters are getting so turned around, and it's not even their fault because these survivors are just moving so unpredictably and so quickly as well. Everything in this game, it's so interesting. Everything in this game looks so much more fast and smooth when you're watching somebody who's just like very, very good at it, as opposed to when they're not. But yeah, getting right into our first chase here. It does look like we've caught up to Patient eventually, but we do have the Shack to work with now. Patient has used one hook, but nice flywheel. Unfortunately, not quite enough. Just going to get hit on the edge of that heavy hit. We've already got, yes, we do have insolence detention, so I'm very happy to see that. And something happened with that hook. Did that hook get canceled by, it didn't get canceled by the hit, I don't think. Maybe it did. But yeah, very nicely done there, by Nightwatch, just stopping the patient right away. It was about a 1 cipher kite, but those ciphers are kind of lagging behind there. Barmaid did have to sit for a second, and not start decoding right away. I do think she actually moved across the map there. And obviously Forward has quite a big, decoding deficit. So yeah, very, very nicely done there. By Nightwatch, just to kind of catch up, especially that's the thing with rotation, you don't start decoding until a little bit later in the match because you can't hop on the cipher right away. You have to, rotate to another one. But it does, ideally it delays the match. But it looks like we're going to go for possibly a last second rescue here, if at all. Forward kind of coming through for it, is going to be able to make it to the chair in time, but Nightwatch does have the dashes. Unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough. Actually going to miss that as well. Patient with a very good hook, unfortunately not quite enough, is just going to get hit right out of that tie turner. Forward is Forward still in the area is the real question. We're going to pull Patient out of that corner here, really not looking to get stuck. And it does look like Forward's actually left the area. And Barmaid is already healing him up, so we are going to have a good reset going here. For the latter stages of the match, they can definitely get a draw out of this if they're able to just continue pushing the Hunter. With 3 ciphers remaining here, I feel like it's not ideal for a draw, but it's okay. There's definitely like worse scenarios to be in when you're kind of aiming for as many points as possible. But no, not when I'm streaming. Okay, well, we can watch that at the end, treat, or maybe I'll just do it after. Either way, cool. Anyway, that skin is so nice though. As Forward continues this chase, I just gotta say that skin is so pretty. I don't play Bloody Queen, so I don't have any excuse to spend the. Oh no! Using the blink there. That blink is going to be in cooldown for quite some time. We don't have trait switch either, so that is just so unfortunate there. Nicely done with that heavy hit, but wow, what a crucial missed blink there. We're not going to have that in endgame, I don't think. With that missed blink, we're not going to have that for endgames. That is just really unfortunate there, unless they're taking their time getting to that last cipher to decode it. So I guess maybe we'll have that blink back for endgame if they keep taking if they kind of keep delaying it. But looks like we're just going to switch targets over to the Barmaid here. She does still have 1 Drake remaining, as well as her speed Devlin. So she's not in the worst position here. Hello, Trooper. I forgot it was you. But yeah, not in a bad position here at all. We do have full dashes though, so she is going to have to she's not actually using the Devlin. I guess because she wasn't confident in her ability to really make it to that next kiting area. And she wants to conserve her Devlin. But did she use the speed Devlin? I don't think so. I don't think she used the speed Devlin. I think it's just not showing because she's on chair right now. I guess I'll see after, but yeah, not sure about that one. But we are able to get a hit in on the Antiquarian. That cipher is at 15% here. Yeah, that lack of early decoding progress is really kind of hurting Aeon survivors right now. Because, yeah, right now we're at 30% of that cipher has been decoded. Forward is the one stuck decoding. They're going to have to switch here if they want to get Barmaid off chair. But we're looking at probably best case scenario here, a draw. And that's if they're able to kite Nightwatch through to, the gate opening, not have him switch targets. They might be banking on Nightwatch not having detention here and having trump card instead. But I feel like that's just a very risky gamble. Especially but Nightwatch heading in the wrong direction, but it's nope, doesn't matter. Barmaid has already taken off, and it doesn't matter that Antiquarian was over there, but and Forward dropping the pallet on the wrong side. And yeah, that's a very early hit to take, especially when you need to take as much time as possible. Beautiful with the wind. That is really what you need to play Nightwatch. Just great prediction there from Sir. I can't pronounce that. It says Sirunya. But yeah, just very, very nicely done by the Nightwatch. And that's how you play Nightwatch. This might be a solo escape here. But I don't. Is Dungeon on this side of the map? I think we might be in front of Dungeon right now. I don't think Antiquarian can safely reach it, but I do think Nightwatch has caught sight of the Antiquarian. She does have quite a bit of stick left. But faking out the blink there. and faking out the blink once again. Both of them know that it is up here. Just waiting, waiting, waiting. Oh, and another one. Are we gonna... Oh, swapping sides there. And a beautiful blink. Harder to predict right in front of that pallet. That is a 4-man elimination from Mio to start us off. So yeah, the best... That guarantees. That guarantees a round 3 here. The best that AN can do is a tie coming into this, so, or coming into round 2. So very nicely done there, bringing it back around, and hopefully, you know, making a difference. It looks like there are some swaps going on here, for the second half. Are we... Oh, okay, so it's for this game. I guess they do it before the game and not at the start of the round. But yeah, we're going to swap out one of the Mio survivors, and I would say we're probably swapping out the... Yeah, we're swapping out the Aeon Hunter as well, because they did have a secondary Hunter. So exciting to see that going into second half of round 2, if I can find... There we go. We're going to get to the band picks. We've got Mercenary and Coordinator as our first 2 survivor bands. Oh god, I just opened up an erroneous tab. Oops, there we go. I'm glad that didn't interrupt the stream. Yeah, we're going to lock in. Ooh, very, very quick lock. Oh, it's because, okay, so they're banning Bonbon because they know that, well, Bonbon's also good on Sacred Heart Hospital. So they're going to ban Bonbon. They're a little bit more worried about the Bonbon, and they're just going to hard counter comp the Opera Singer with that Gardener and with the first officer. That's a smart strategy here. Yeah, just counter-comping the Opera Singer. Opera Singer is not as strong on Sacred Heart Hospital, just by virtue of it being such a survivor-sided map. But yeah, very smart here. Very smart here from Mio survivors. Kind of anticipating the Bonbon banning Bonbon in that anticipation. And it looks like we are getting in that Embalmer here, looking for a little bit of insurance. They do only need 1 escape to win the round. So yeah, worst case scenario here, it's very low pressure on Mio Survivors. Well, it's not low pressure on Mio Survivors because they did lose round 1. But the pressure, you know, they don't have to worry about sweeping this round. They just have to worry about you know, tying at the very least. Either way, we're going to round 3. But they do have an opportunity to really bring things back for themselves, right? And they're not that far behind. I think they're only like 3 points behind after round 1 because they tied. Or no, they're 1 point behind, I think, because it was a tie and then it was... Ooh. They're either 1 or 2 points ahead. I haven't been keeping track of the score, but you know what? It's fine. Either way, yeah, we are going to get the Hunter lock, and it is going to be an Opera Singer despite the counter comp. So it does look like Yami a little bit confident going into this. At least I feel like, I mean, it's not a bad choice. Opera Singer is never a bad choice. But I feel like with the Embalmer, with, you know, the hard, not the hard counter, you can't really hard counter an Opera Singer, but with the counter of the Gardener as well as the first officer, it's not gonna be easy to get a 4-man elimination, because they are going to push very, very hard to get 1 survivor out the gate, secure the win for the round, and yeah. But yeah, very smart of them to ban the Guard 26, kind of try for that, try to bait that Opera Singer out on a map that's not as good for her. But yeah, very, very intriguing here. And yeah, Aeroplanet's ban does definitely make sense with the Opera Singer in play, because especially on a map like Sacred Heart where there's so much ground to cover, it's very... Well, it's not easy to escape from her, but like there's a lot more versatility that he can have. It looks like we are going to run into First Officer right away and force him to use that Pocket Watch and then switch immediately. We're heading kind of in the direction of where it looks like Gardener is. Obviously, we can't quite see her yet, though, unless we're in, you know, spectator vision, because we can see everybody's location. But it looks like we're going to head on to Acrobat here. Yami, definitely we're seeing here the skill of this opera singer. You know, she is very, very confident with these dashes, very fast with them as well. And just really kind of putting on display the knowledge here. But yeah, we are going to get our first hit in on the acrobat. Very well done. And just continuing this chase. We are in a really good area though, but Acrobat does have to be careful just because Opera Singer does counter tight kiting. We are halfway through our first cipher, about 30% through our second two, trying to get that firebomb on her. Unfortunately, she's just not going to go that way. It is going to take her an extra second, but playing around this, unfortunately, Acrobat just doesn't have Flywheel, and wasn't able to vault that pallet in time, didn't have any balls to utilize, they were in cooldown, so Acrobat will be chaired here. We do have First Officer kind of free to come. He is kind of coming around. Is that Basil? No, it's Goro Akechi, which is worse. But yeah, unfortunately for First Officer, it does look like he's going to get, yeah, he is going to get sort of stuff there. But because he's First Officer, still able to get the rescue down. So very nicely done in that front. But yeah, playing around that pallet, very risky, but good timing from the Acrobat here. We are going to do a beautiful bomb over, but unfortunately, Opera Singer did have a decoy there, and that is going to be a hit on the Tide Turner, but we do have Acrobat embalmed. That is very, very good for Mio survivors right now. They don't have to come into rescue, you know, they can focus on finding and healing that First Officer and keeping up that decoding. They're a little bit behind on their ciphers right now, I think because they're going to stop and heal the First Officer. But yeah, we can switch to teleport here, but I don't think we're going to. It does look like we're just going to, it looks like we're going to turn around here and head for the Embalmer instead, knowing that he doesn't really have anything to use, and we're going to head to the Acrobat here. We do have Blink up, so I would say that's probably going to come through sooner than later. Yep, there it is, right through that wall, and Acrobat is going to go down. That was a little bit predictable, I feel like. Acrobat could have probably bombed away from it, but would I have done it? No, so I'm not going to act like that was, you know, a mistake on the survivor's part, because despite it being predictable, you know, you're not really, you know, thinking about that. But either way, that is going to be Acrobat eliminated here. They have 3 ciphers remaining. 2 of them have a significant amount of progress on them, but it's a little bit spread out right now. They really need to get back to those ciphers, continue decoding right now, or at the very least heal. They're definitely in a little bit of danger right now just because, you know, okay, it does look like First Officer has found a syringe and is healing, but Embalmer getting caught out like this, doesn't have any coffins to work with, and yeah, just is a little bit vulnerable right now. Yeah, nothing to work with there, just kind of in an open area, and is going to be downed here. Once again, you know, worst case scenario for, like, 4-man elimination here is just going to be a tie, so they're still going to have a chance to bring it back around, but it's, you know, ideally they do want to get at least one out the gate. So we are going to have Gardner coming through here. Does have the bubble up, but Tangria is doing everything in her power to kind of make sure that she doesn't get to the chair. Unfortunately, no decoys left to teleport back to. Very nicely done there by the Gardner. Just knowing and having the confidence in that veterans boost to take her all the way. Ciphers are going a little bit slowly here. First Officer does have, you know, much less of a decoding debuff than he starts with, but still doesn't decode fastest in either way. You know, you're still at 83%, you know, 90% cipher, but the other one is stuck at 53%. And you need a little bit more than that at this point in the game, especially with both survivors injured. There's not a lot of opportunity here to really bring things back. It does look like we might just be leaving Embalmer, which is a little bit unfortunate. He did have a coffin if he had been rescued before half, but I also don't think that was really a possibility here. Just because, you know, half health of all survivors. This is looking a little bit like a 4-man elimination, I'm gonna be honest. There's just not a lot of space for these survivors to bring it back. First Officer is going to heal though, and it does look like he's actually made it to a cipher. Unfortunately, Gardner just caught out in the middle of nowhere, going to stand still to get that bubble. Unfortunately, it was not primed. And she is just going to go down here. First officer forced to pull off that cipher. Opera Singer has switched to teleport, so yeah, doesn't want to have those ciphers shaking. She does, looks like, have an idea of, at the very least, where the dungeon is, if not where First Officer is, so she does know where to defend from. But yeah, this is really just, how long is it going to take to find out this First Officer? We do have Tinnitus, and it does look like we've seen his little head there, so we are going to start this end game chase. Gardner does still have self-heal, so we can definitely see that come into play. But as it stands, the kind of absolute best case scenario here is a one-man escape. But just really nicely done here from the Opera Singer, taking advantage of the fact that the survivors, thought that they could counter her. Because it is very confident, you go in with the First Officer who does have kind of a chance at rescuing against you, a little bit more than a mercenary. And yeah, just so unfortunate here that strategy just didn't really pay off. But they did still manage to tie this round. But yeah, the issue here, is that next round, if either Aeon Hunter or Aeon Survivors are able to get, we're gonna start fast forwarding through this because this is a 4-man elimination. Unless they're able to somehow get a 1-man here, we've seen it happen. So I'm not gonna call it. Excuse me. I'm not going to call it until it's completely over, but it could definitely, yeah, okay, we're doing the slug thing again. Yup, Gardner's going to pop back up there. At this point, yeah. There's nothing they can do, but they're not surrendering, so, respect. But yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, if Aeon Survivors or Aeon Hunter are able to get a 4-man elimination or a 4-man escape, that will be it, because the only scenario, it means that the only ending of round 3 is going to be a tie, which would still have the points in Aeon's advantage. So yeah, they would win. But yeah, heading, I can't see. Looks like we're going over win conditions here. Yeah, 10-8. So yeah, very close. Oh, okay. No, that was the previous match. I got scared. I thought I was seeing something from a future match. Yeah, it looks like they're doing a couple more substitutions here. It looks like just a survivor substitution, but I do want to see what it is. Just out of curiosity. I can... Oh. Okay, so it looks like Chikuma is going to be out and Yumo is going to come back. I think that was also a swap in the previous round. I guess they just wanted their First Officer in or something. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, we are going to get into the map ban and pick, etc. for round 3. There are no map bans, so we're just going to pick a map. It looked like that was Yup, okay, that was Ever Sleeping Town, and we've got Aeon hunting first, so that is definitely smart here from Aeon. If they were picking the or I guess from both teams, because if their hunter is just able to 4-man again, then they win. And their survivors don't have to play again. So, yeah, that is... I feel like that's Aeon's strategy here. We'll see if it pays off. I would not be surprised if it does, to be honest. But yeah, we've got Aeon Yami again. I would say that they're probably going to ban some kind of, like, Opera Singer Dream Witch deal. But we'll see. So it looks like we're going to lock out Priestess and Mercenary, so we could probably lock in a Seer here. Nope, we're going to lock in Batter and Aeroplanist. Is that what I'm seeing? Yeah, that's going to be Batter and Aeroplanist as our first 2 picks. Those are very specific here. I'm trying to think of what we could be trying to counter. Okay, so we're going to ban... Yeah, we're gonna ban Opera Singer and Wax Artist, so I think... Oh, wow. This is just kind of curly hair convention here. We've got Patient as our 3rd pick. Immediately we're going to ban Embalmer. We've also banned Coordinator. This is a very aggressive team, I want to say. I feel like maybe we're looking at a Geisha count. Wow, this is kind of like the modern equivalent to a Koa 4 comp. Just being, or more like Koa 5, I would say, because of the acrobat. But yeah. Curly hair convention. But yeah, I feel like this is a geisha counter comp. But it's very interesting to bring out the batter first. Let's say we're not going to see a geisha in these circumstances. That is a, why did they? Didn't they banned the Guard 26 before on Sacred Heart? But they banned I guess Wax Artist is scarier on this map. But I feel like if you're afraid enough of a hunter to target ban on Sacred Heart, then because I mean Wax Artist is definitely very good on this map, but obviously you want to ban. Yeah, I guess their strategy right now is to just run away really hard. That's really the only thing I can think of here as to why it's why they didn't ban Guard 26. That they're just gonna run fast. But yeah, it's a little bit interesting that they're letting out the Guard 26 because none of these survivors really counter him. I guess, yeah, the only thing that they counter him with is just by breaking as much distance as possible. And I guess batter is just annoying in general. But Guard 26 also counters harassment because he can just place a bomb, or at least balloon harassment because of the bombs, but bombs also deal area of effect damage, so, you know, in that way, he also counters it. But, yeah. If he's able to 4-man elimination, then it's going to be the end of round 3 immediately. But I feel like maybe they can get... There's only so much. The thing with having a comp like this is that it's not a cheerleader. You know, there's no one who can run away and then continue running away. All of them will run out of resources eventually. And if the hunter is able to kind of pressure them out of their resources enough, which Guard 26 can definitely do, because if they, you know, you have 3 hooks, you have 3 jetpacks, 3 balls that will break, and maximum of 6 bombs, plus probably flywheel. Okay, we have flywheel in the batter, but that's it. I was kind of expecting more flywheel, if we were looking at a Guard 26. But anyway, we are going to get right into it. It looks like Patient is going to be the first chase here. Not a lot of rotation here, just kind of ending up running directly into the hunter. So that's a little bit unfortunate there. And are we going to be able to, not quite able to get this chip hit yet? Nice on the hook. Just breaking a little bit of distance there. Heading up the stairs. Are we going to take a hit here? It's looking like it might be a basic hit. Yeah, we're going to take the basic hit. Patient running around there because better taking a basic hit at the top of the stairs than taking a fall hit. Baking out on the drop, but it looks like, yeah, Yumo not falling for it at all and just continuing, to run across the map. That was a pretty crucial misstep there. And just completely losing sight of that Patient. We're going to switch targets here over to the Aeroplanist, which is kind of the same thing. You know, you have the same issues when kiting, because he is just going to run away. The thing here, though, is that Aeroplanist has a much longer cooldown. We're going to see that 15-second cooldown on the jetpack. So this is where Cheerleader would come in handy because she resets cooldowns. Cheerleader and Aeroplanist is a very good combo, especially for kiting. And oh, we're going to get the fall hit on that vault. Nicely done with the blink there. And oh, but beautiful on the hover. Aeroplanist just using that immediately to gain a little bit of distance. Did take the chip hit there, but thankfully with that pushback we were able to just jetpack away. Nicely done. We're still at 5 ciphers remaining though. Cipher progress being a little bit slow with Patient being injured, Aeroplanist being injured, and it looks like Patient cipher is actually going to be disrupted here. And oh, was that almost a tram hit? I don't even know how close that tram was, but I feel like it was a little bit too close for comfort. Charles is just going to continue to take this kite. Sorry for first naming him. And not quite going to take a chip hit yet. We're playing a little bit around this wall, which is a little bit bold. Can definitely waste a lot of time like this if you're the aeroplanist. But oh, just going to get caught at the edge of that chain bomb. That was, shouldn't have gotten caught in that, I'm going to be honest. But it is what it is, and he is going to be cheered here at 4 ciphers remaining, almost 3 ciphers remaining. Again, well, yeah, no, it is 3 ciphers remaining. For a second, I thought it was 2 ciphers remaining. I was going to get excited, but no, with 3 ciphers remaining here and not a lot of progress. That is true, yeah, with the blink fall hit, and then, unfortunately, Yami just wasn't, well, Yami wasn't really able to make anything out of it because of that, hover. You know, that did buy so much time, and that's why Aeroplanist has been banned, you know, because I've seen people be like, you know, why do you ban Aeroplanist? You know, all he does is he just patient, but patient couldn't really do that. It takes much longer to cast the hook than it does to cast the hover. And yeah, it's basically flywheel. And that was just a very effective use of it. I've been very excited with all of the good Aeroplanists today. And I'm hoping that NAU kind of catches on. I was saying this in the My Mellow tournament the other day, which, check it out, it doesn't have a dedicated channel, but you look up My Mellow tournament on the weekends on Twitch, it should pop up. I've been commentating for that intermittently. You know the drill. It's been fun, but I've been hoping for Aeroplanists there. I've been hoping for Aeroplanists in Koa, or I will be hoping for Aeroplanists in Koa. It's just so much fun to watch him. He really is just a fun character. But yeah, as I'm saying that, he's been eliminated. And Patient is also going into the chair. But yeah, I'm excited for Cheerleader and Aeroplanist, if only because I want Cheerleader get nerfed. And I'm almost positive that her Koa presence is going to lead to a nerf. I'm hoping. But yeah, this is, if they're lucky here, they can get a 1-man escape and continue round 3. But this is just not looking pretty. This is not looking pretty. And we've switched to abnormal as well, so that just completely tanked that cipher progress. And yeah, that is kind of GG's at this point. We're actually going to avoid dropping or picking up the acrobat for a second there. But yeah, this is just not, yeah, their cipher progress just needed to be more. And obviously, you know, Batter did contribute to, you know, having a little bit less cipher progress, but if you're able to cipher rush with a Merc on the team, there's no excuse for a Batter, because I think Batter has 25% decoding debuff, my bad. I think it's it might be 20% actually. I don't remember off the top of my head. Point being is that I think it's less than Mercs, so therefore no excuses for not cipher rushing with a Batter. But nicely done on that stun. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be quite long enough, and yeah, that is going to be a stuff on the Batter here, heading right back towards that Patient. All he needs is 1 chip hit to go down, and that chip hit is going to go off right now. That is going to be a 4-man elimination here. I don't think they're going to play the rest of round 3 just because, like, it is over. Yeah, there's no way out of this. The best case situation here for they needed to not tie. If they hadn't tied the previous round, or if they tied the first round, and not lost it by the lizard going in the wrong direction, if they had been able to not tie the second round, if they were able to get a solo escape there, that would have really increased their chances of success in round 3. But just because, you know, they couldn't tie it, they had to win it. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for watching. I know that I kind of betrayed everybody by not doing a Hunter stream, but I didn't really feel like playing, so, and I wanted to watch IVT anyway, so yeah, a little bit selfish there, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get the last 3 matches from this past weekend done before this weekend, so I can hopefully try to keep up a little bit and like have a complete series on YouTube for once, because I think I forgot to upload the IJL finals. And I am so terribly sorry for that, but yeah, I swear I streamed it. I just forgot to upload it, and Twitch is evil and deletes everything, and I have a bad memory. So yeah, we're gonna I'm gonna get better about uploading things when I stream. I did it yesterday. I'm gonna do it today. Yeah, hopefully that won't happen again. But I do need to remember to add a scorecard. I might do that tonight for the possible stream tomorrow. But worst case scenario, I'll figure out how to do it next week. I just need to figure out how to make it look good. I could probably put it in the upper corner, like above the Luca PNG. I think that would look good. Just having like a little table up there. I'll figure something out. But I do think that would be really helpful for like following matches and stuff. Especially if you get here like after the start of the match. And especially because they don't really show the score at the top. They show the rounds, but they don't show the score. And they don't show like the results of the previous match. Either way, I'll figure that out. But yeah, thank you for watching. Uh that's all from me, and have a good night.